294. Clippers got a couple of quick scores and now 5 on the shot clock for the Denver Nuggets. Inbounding on the baseline. This is Mike Malone's best baseline out of bounds play here. Gets it into Murray. George is all over him. He's going to have to create way deep in the clock. Way short. Clippers can now cut it to 2 or 1 with a three-pointer. Here's George. Drags free in transition. Works into the lane. Back out. Beverly passes up the wide open three. Why did he do that? But now there's going to be a foul in favor of Leonard. They have fouled Leonard twice in just no reason to foul situations. Harris got a strip on him in game 4, but generally you're not going to take the ball out of Kawhi Leonard's hands, and that's going to do it for Gary Harris, maybe the Nuggets' best defensive player.
Well, and not only that, but when the team is in the bonus, like the Clippers have been, then going for those reaches is even more consequential because it's not like it's a side out. It's 2 free throws for Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, he's clearly just grabbing his wrist there. The referee all over it. Good call. Nothing to complain about on that one. So Kawhi, an excellent free throw shooter. They go into the challenge here. We're picking this up late, so I can't recall whether, in fact, a challenge is used. No, the delay is just to see who is going to replace him. And the answer is Torrey Craig for what is not going to be a defensive possession. This will be 2 free throws for Leonard. So Malone, as is his wont, opting for defense with this group.
And what'll be interesting here is also how do these coaches use their timeouts with what is remaining. And to get you through the foul situation right now, we obviously know Gary Harris has 6. The only other person with 4 or more is Jeremy Grant has 4.
Yeah, it's been an offensive explosion in the second half for the Nuggets. They put up a mere 44 points in the first, but they've gone crazy, particularly from 3 in the second half. Nikola Jokic has been leading that. So Clippers, now this is a 6-0 run for them, including 2 fouls of Kawhi that were just bad plays. It's Beverly guarding Porter. They want to set up Murray. George getting through it, forcing Murray out on the floor. They're going to switch this with Leonard. Late clock again. No time to get it to Jokic. It's Murray over Kawhi, way off and short. And this is going to go over to the Clippers. Not much complaint from Jokic on the out of bounds.
No, Jokic touched. He was reaching for it and it hit off his hand last. That's not one that needs to be reviewed.
So they took too long to get into it here. And because they're switching in the late clock between George and Leonard, they couldn't use Jokic's size advantage, and Murray having to create one-on-one against Kawhi at the end of the clock is not what you want. Now Clippers looking to tie it on this possession. They get it to Kawhi at the elbow, off the Lou Williams screen to engage Murray. Now pick and pop. It's Williams for the lead. Oh, man, he has had so many open ones here in the second half. Now it's Torrey Craig. They're going to back it out up 2 to get it to Jokic. Trying to post up Grant against Lou Williams. They kick him out on the switch. Now Lou's on Porter. He'll take the 3 over him. Oh! Huge shot for Porter, and that may be the 3 points that puts Denver in a game 6. And Lou Williams on the floor. They did involve in the offensive action. He misses the 3. He got on Porter because he wanted to kick out, switch Marcus Morris, who was on Porter, but then Williams didn't actually get out of him enough, and Porter, who has had a rough night, drains the 3 over him.
Well, and also Porter benefits from having a super high release point. I think even if Lou Will was out there pretty closely, unless he got it kind of hand on the ball, it wouldn't have affected Porter Jr. that much. They just thought the threat was different than what it was.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those ones where if you're a small guy, you got to be so close to him that he doesn't even have room to bring the ball up in front of his body, because once he gets it above his head in that shot motion, you're not going to affect him.
Okay, so let's take a beat. I mean, we're going to be going probably pretty much straight into this game 7 to kind of set the table for that. One of the things that's been notable to me about the series, we talked about this a little bit after game 6, is that Boston has been significantly more dominant in their wins than Toronto. Toronto's won close. Boston has won 1 game close, but then they've also won 2 in pretty comfortable wins. So that generally, you know, I tend to think that matters for a series, but it's not necessarily definitive. It can, you know, any single game can go there. Is that how you kind of see the series so far?
Yeah, I think so. And obviously, this could be anyone's game, but you know, if the more it gets into sort of a if you expect that there's going to be a barrage for one team, it would be in favor of the Celtics. All right, we're back here. Mark Davis setting up Clippers after a timeout. They can still control their destiny here. They're not going to. They can get 2 buckets, but one has to be a 3. They're basically got 2 possessions left in this. Here's Kawhi. Pick and pop. George is open. His 3 is big. Off. Rebounded by the Nuggets, and now they can run down some clock and likely put the Clippers in a situation where they're going to have to foul. They switched this initially with Lou Williams on Jamal Murray into Jokic. Nice job by George working hard, and they do not use the entire shot clock either. Now Jokic almost fouls in the backcourt, which would have been a disaster. They got to get the 2 for 1 here. Danny, what are they doing?
Yeah.
They get it under Zubats. He's going to attack Porter. Stopped by Porter at the rim. It's Morris's 3-pointer in the corner off the rebound. That misses. And Porter again. Oh, and then he started to talk shit and he got fouled from behind. He had no idea Morris was there and he just got bailed out with the foul. He almost got it stripped away. But man, I mean, the Clippers, how many chances have they had? Wide open Lou Williams 3-pointer. George had a very good look at it as well. Zubats then on the next possession got stopped by Porter. Morris had a very good look at a 3 that could have given him the 2 for 1 and put him within 2, and none of them go down. And now Michael Porter has a chance to put this one away.
The Clippers were 9 of 17 on threes in the first half, and now they are 6 of 23 in the second half.
And that'll be Monte Morris actually with a chance to put it away, as the Nuggets were not in the bonus. But now they are, and Monte Morris, a reliable free throw shooter in there, of course, due to that reason, and his capable, secure ball handling.
Yeah, so that means we will get a Game 6 in this series, which will occur on Sunday. And that also theoretically means a delay in the potential Western Conference Finals. We don't know exactly what that start point would have been had the Lakers and Clippers both closed out their series in their respective games Friday and Saturday. But it'll definitely be interesting, and we've seen Denver come back before, but this is a fundamentally different team to do so against than the Clippers. Overall.
Yeah, than the Jazz.
Than the Jazz,
So
yeah.
Morris hits that second free throw, and the Clippers will utilize their last timeout. Yeah, I mean, this is very similar tenor to what took place in game number 5 against the Utah Jazz. Down 12 to start the second half, about where they were in that against Utah. They just couldn't score. It looked like the offense was broken. And then all of a sudden, their defense really got them back into it, including, of course, some missed 3-pointers by the Clippers, particularly at the end, and Denver making their 3-pointers as well. Finally, they're only 3 of 11 in the first half, but when a scalding 9 out of 16 in the second half from downtown, and they flashed the graphic of the Clippers' great 3-point shooting in the first half and then really poor 3-point shooting in the second half. Also noteworthy, Denver had 5 assists on 17 buckets in the first, and they've had 15 assists on 22 buckets in the second.
Yeah, that's a huge difference, and a show that you talked during the game about how the Clippers, kind of like the Lakers, were doing a job of making the other team's offense unhealthy. And I think that the Nuggets offense has been significantly healthier in the second half, helped by being able to, not have to pull the ball out of the basket every damn time too.
Yeah, just catching up here on some of the tweets. Clippers get it in. They got to get a 3 here, obviously. Leonard is open. He'll take the catch and shoot over Murray, and he does hit it. There's still a little bit of a heart beating right now. They got to get it in, but they have 2 timeouts, and they'll take one of them to advance the ball. And probably a good opportunity to do that. They didn't really have anything set up. Good job by the Clippers matching up immediately after the made field goal to prevent the inbounds.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I broadly support teams not calling the timeout initially, is that a lot of times their opponent does not have anything set, and so you can get the ball in bounds without too much of an issue, but the Clippers were pretty well set there. Why was Harris that aggressive with 5 fouls? I mean, he's a very confident defender. You could see this with Andre Iguodala as well. Like, he didn't think he was going to quit the foul, But yeah, I mean that's a fair criticism. From Christopher Chavez, Marcus Morris' partner is pregnant in the bubble. He may have to leave. Have you guys talked about that? I honestly didn't know that. So I will look into that. Sometimes the familial stuff is something that I don't always have the closest eye on, like the Gordon Hayward one I had heard about before, but I didn't know the exact timing.
See if we can give you a little bit more stats wise from this game per cleaning the glass. Not a ton separating these teams.
I mean, it's been an extremely low turnover game. That's something that's been striking to be 9 versus 11.
So they get it in. Grant almost lost it in the backcourt, and now Lou Williams, or was that Beverly? Yeah, it's Beverly. Sorry. They of course were too busy showing a commercial to actually show us the beginning of the inbounds play. Remember, TNT is really bad about that. Like they are milking this for all it's worth. Get a look at this from Grant, and yeah, he did appear to avoid the backcourt. So Porter Jr. has a great stroke. Beverly out, Lou Williams in, Torrey Craig in for his defense for the Nuggets as well.
And the Clippers have no timeouts left, so that means they're going to have to use some of these 21 seconds just getting the ball up the floor, though one time they can probably throw it in the air.
That's a big one here. So Clippers need 2 threes. You can't imagine there's a way they would get more than 2 possessions here. George looking to push it up. Jokic shading towards him. George is going to drive it. Just an asinine decision, but he gets fouled. I mean, I'm sorry. There's absolutely 0 point in taking a 2-pointer when you're down 6 points with 20 seconds left in the game.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to foul anyway, so maybe you get maybe you can force one turnover if you're lucky, but otherwise it's just all you're doing is theoretically trading points, and the other team's going to have their free throw shooters on the floor.
Yeah, that was a risky foul there from Craig, however.
Yeah, because that could have been an and one.
Yeah, really got him in the head, and George just couldn't make it. Yeah, I'm regretting starting this now. This is going to take. Is the other game actually on yet? Are they going to like start it on the other channel?
I don't think they'll start it on the other channel, but I think it'll pick up very quickly.
Beverly and Morris in.
Oh God, you know Michael Mullen's going to call his other timeout.
Yeah. Do like the Doc Rivers goatee though. Another free throw for George. Makes that, so it's 4 here. They are going to try at least to get the ball in. Porter denied. They get it into Murray. He's double teamed. He gets it up to Morris. This is going to use more precious time. Ahead to Porter. He's going to shoot it for some dumb reason, and then he's fouled for some dumb reason.
And Morris is incredulous that he didn't think there was a foul there. It looked like there was at least a meaningful amount of contact there. I need to get another look at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to go in if you have a wide open dunk, and ooh, yeah, I don't see how that's a foul, really. Pretty good contest, but Porter, again, an excellent free throw shooter, not even coming close to missing these.
And worth noting that even if even if that foul isn't called, it's a 4-point game with 10 seconds to go, and the Clippers have the ball in their own backcourt.
Yeah,
so
that might be a reason for that George should have taken a 3 on the last possession.
Agreed.
But hey, they're still in the game here, though, Danny. Except they're not. Yeah, hopefully this will use up the remainder of the time if they miss here. George gets it to Kawhi. His 3 is off, and that will do it. One last attempt to draw a bullshit foul, and it's over. So Denver lives to fight another day. I have been impressed by how competitive they have been in this series. It certainly seemed like the Clippers had completely figured them out, and especially after that first half, and yet the Nuggets resilient to the end. And when will that end be? I guess we will find out in Game 6 on Sunday night. So yeah, you want to get into the previewing a little bit more of this Toronto-Boston game. I mean, the biggest thing that I'm going to be looking for early is what is the defense going to be on Kemba Walker after all the machinations that took place in Game 6?
Yeah, I think the two big questions for me are that. So would they not Denver, Toronto started that game in a box and one. They were and originally Boston was attacking it by getting corner threes. Eventually they kind of, the way I would describe it is they expanded the box. And so that made it harder to get corner threes. They were conceding other things. But then and this connects to the other thing that I think is a huge question mark, which is personnel. Because remember that Toronto, even though they hadn't gone to that lineup very much before, they went exceedingly small in the fourth quarter and overtime of Game 6. And presumably they could do that significantly in Game 7 as well, reduce the minutes for Marc Gasol and Serge Ibaka, and go to Norman Powell more. But there's no guarantee that that is going to take place. And doing so over a full game is also different because that changes the rotation, though theoretically they could do something different than like the Lakers and still use their guys in a backup capacity if they want it.
My prediction, and I don't know this, is that Boston in particular is going to be a little more judicious, particularly in that first half, to try and be fresh, try to wear Toronto down, beat them in the transition game, which has really been snuffed out. I mean, that happens when guys are playing so many minutes. You don't run as much. So I think that's going to be very interesting to see what the story is as far as the player usage with some of these bench guys. Because as we know, it was 22 straight minutes of the Boston starters at the end, and I think 18 straight minutes of that small group with Anunoby at center.
Let's see. Will they start C's Raps without showing it? I'm not sure. I'm pretty confident now that they'll actually just go. They're already doing the video package. So they probably held it like 10 extra minutes, and then they'll let it roll live.
Yeah. Well, and keep in mind too, like the way they did this was the West Coast game actually was scheduled first before the East Coast game because this one had so much more intrigue, and the Nuggets gave that game a lot more intrigue than I thought it was going to have. It seemed like it was going to be a Game 5 closeout, and that's one where being the no home court advantage probably helped the Nuggets, right? Like if that's a road game, maybe they don't win it.
Yeah, that's true. If it's a road Game 5 down 3-1 with that, famously raucous Clippers home crowd.
All right, so we are getting set here as Miami awaits in the other bracket. And absolutely fascinated to see what's going to take place tonight. You got a prediction?
Celtics. I think that it will be closer, especially because the pace is going to be a little bit toned down. But I think that I think they have the superior team, and I think that Toronto absolutely can win. This is not a like 60-40 or anything like that, but I think the Celtics are favorites. How about you?
Yeah, I would put it in that range as well. The 3-point shooting is massive also. Like Toronto has really only been able to compete in this series when they've had good 3-point shooting nights. If they have an average one or a bad one, I don't expect this to be that close. They are so reliant on that 3-pointer. So they are going to start Gasol. We'll see. He got the Keith Bogans in both halves, just playing the first 6 minutes or so and never coming back in. But the proud veteran was not going to be put on the bench, at least to start a Game 7.
And we'll see how Brad Stevens uses Robert Williams, because he's had some real trouble with Serge Ibaka pick and pops, and so how much Ibaka plays will affect that. And obviously, if Boston goes even smaller than that, too.
Everyone looking fresh as could be after that marathon Game 6. And more waiting is occurring for no particular reason. And our old friend, Scott Foster, is going to bring us home for this one. Tice wins the tip, which he failed to do 3 times in game number 6. Could have made a difference. All right, looks like this is a 2-3 to start here for the Raptors. No, they're back in the box in 1 on Kemba. This is Brown, wide open 3. They got a flare screen from Daniel Tice. That's the other thing you can do against this zone. But Jaylen Brown missing the corner 3. He had quite a few of those in the first game. I'm sorry, in Game 6, I should say. The previous game. Here's Lowry going through Walker to knock him down, and he hits that first three-pointer of the game. That's the start that Toronto wanted. So they're going to stick with the box and one on Walker. You see Van Vliet running around him. When they set a screen, they're going to switch that guy onto Walker. Here's Tatum on the drive, going for a tough floater off the glass. I don't know if that was his intention. And he's brought Boston within one. Now Gasol deep out on the floor, looking for Van Vliet. Walker denying him in the passing lanes. They don't switch this. Gasol from the elbow. Quick release is good. Marc Gasol hitting a couple of shots can get him going early. We saw him have a little bit of a jag at the start of the third quarter in Game 6. Tatum has space on Siakam. Underneath Brown. Nice cut behind Kyle Lowry, who was not ready for it.
And nice vision by Tatum to see the cut and make the pass for the layup.
Here's Van Vliet into the lane, trying to draw help. They do help a little bit more off of Gasol at least. Now it's Siakam. He's got the size advantage on Walker. Where's the help going to come from? Nowhere, really. And Siakam misses it nonetheless. Now Brown in transition. Back to Walker. He's going to try and attack early. Gets it out. Tatum passes it up. Into three guys. Back out Smart. He gets past Anunoby. A little bit off. But Lowry knocks it out of bounds. We're going to stay right here.
Yeah, I think Lowry was more concerned about knocking the ball away from Jaylen Brown, even though there was only one Raptor there. And maybe that's a time, I've talked a lot about how I like players tipping it to a space. Could have been useful there. Yeah, they're showing a little bit of the elbow from Tatum on that drive. We'll see if that matters in this one.
Here's Brown. Corner three again. Rims out. Couple of threes have rimmed out for Boston on this possession. Now it's Van Vliet. He's got nobody back. Terrible transition defense. Tatum gets there. Van Vliet thought he goaltended, but the shot may have missed anyway. Here's Smart. They go under on him. He'll take the three. That's way off.
That is 4 misses for Boston from 3.
All of them quite excellent looks. Now it's Siakam going to try Brown in the post where he's had missed success. Gets to the baseline, going to his left. Wants to always go back to that left shoulder, though. He couldn't go up with the left hand, and Smart was all over him. Now Smart going into Gasol beautifully with the Euro.
And going back to the last play, I love the help from Daniel Tice there, betting that Siakam couldn't see the pass.
Smart is on Lowry. They screen away for him. Trying to get Lowry slipping back out. Good switch to put Tatum onto Lowry on that screening action. Now Gasol on the fake DHO has to go to his fadeaway over Tice. Not the shot they wanted. That all started with great defense from Tatum on Kyle Lowry. Now he's into the lane. Swing it around. Here's Walker attacking Gasol. Pick and roll. Not there. Another good look at a three-pointer for Boston. You imagine these are going to start falling. Here's Lowry against Walker, forced to his left. Tice gets a foot on it, and it'll reset the shot clock.
Yeah, so this is now 0 for 5 on threes from Boston. 3 above the break, 1 in each corner, but they've made all 3 of their shots in the paint. And then on the reverse, Toronto hasn't made a shot in the paint, but has made both of their jump shots so far.
Yeah, Boston a 6-5 lead. They get it into Siakam again, looking for passing angles. Van Vliet, good job by Walker getting through that. Now Brown with the steal. Boston can get in transition. Brown looking to push it. Toronto gets back. And is Brown? No, he's not fouled. This is just going to be out of bounds, I believe. Couldn't see the referee's signal. No, I think they are going to get Van Vliet for this one.
It seemed like Van Vliet went through Brown pretty clearly there. So I think they should call a foul.
Yeah, he raised the arm. Back to the box and one again. Rob Williams is in pretty early. Tatum, his 3 in the corner. Another miss. That one wasn't the greatest look. But Brown leaving it for Williams. Back out. Smart is open for 3. And they can't get that one either.
Yeah, and a lot of offensive rebounds from the Celtics early, too. That'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah, I think they wanted to get Williams out there matched up with Gasol. Now Williams calls out the switch, but too late to bother Van Vliet. He did not pick him up early enough, and Van Vliet gets a good look at the jump shot.
And yeah, Robert Williams' feet have just not been quick enough on switches so far.
Walker gets it knocked away, although Anunoby not of a mind that it should remain Boston ball. Williams setting the screen. Now he'll roll to the basket. Nice dipsy-do finish from Robert Williams. Very under control against Siakam.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like he has some of those like a little bit more versatile small guy skills, but the feet are the big question for moving forward.
Yeah, which was supposed to be a strength of his coming out. Lowry around the Gasol screen. Gasol taking the pick and pop three. Missing that. He still, I think, has made only one three-pointer in the series. That was in the third quarter of game 6. Tatum loops into that deep three off the dribble, and that's the shot. I really like this approach here. I don't think they went to this enough of setting a screen in an area of that box and one where Marc Gasol is going to have to get out on the floor more, that he can't just hang back. And Tatum, I mean, that's very few. I mean, what is that? Maybe the fourth or fifth of those like 3-pointers off the dribble that he's been able to dribble into in this series.
Yeah, that's a great point. And also, I liked how high Robert Williams set that screen that Tatum could dribble in, get his rhythm, and still have enough space on the three-pointer.
Yeah, also worth noting that there's some evidence that the Tatum play on Van Vliet was a goaltend based on what they showed. But they may also have thought, well, there was the ball did not have a chance to go in based on where it had hit the backboard, but probably should have been called a goaltend.
So how do you sync up to this game? You sync up using the that's what the clock is on the bottom left. That is the time that we are seeing as we are watching the game. So you can do it there. If you are ahead of us, hopefully you can slow it down. If we are ahead of you, then you could theoretically, the best way to do it is probably to use YouTube, because YouTube has a functioning pause button, and all of the links have been Nate's tweeted about, I've tweeted them out, so you can use whatever one tickles your fancy though.
Yeah, let's hit a few questions here. We do not have a sponsor today, so we'll have even more time for questions because we weren't going to miss a game 7.
Do the Bucks have enough assets for Chris Paul? I don't think it's particularly an asset-based thing, especially when you consider how much money Chris Paul is making. But the challenge for the Bucks is really matching salary, because Chris Paul makes so much money that the Bucks would have to give up players that actually are important to their team in order to make a trade work.
Yeah, but it does. I mean, if you had to put money on where it's going to be, it's probably Milwaukee, right?
For Chris Paul?
Yeah, now there could be a lot of changes in the offseason that might make it more viable for another team. But I talked about this in my chat at Dunked on Prime. You can sign up for that, by the way, with the link that's right there in front of you to get total access. It includes our Discord and the chat. That is there really another team that it makes sense to acquire a player with $80 million left on his contract who's 35, where like he's going to put you that close to competing, and also doesn't have 2021 cap space aspirations that Paul would mess up. And there are not many teams on that list.
Yeah, that's a really good point. My instinct with this is kind of paralleling. Incidentally, he's a Raptor now. Serge Ibaka, when he went to the Magic, in that I think a team could make a trade that we disagree with. I think there will be a suitor that comes out of nowhere with him, and it's just, for me, the finances for Milwaukee are just really hard. So I think you're right in theory, but we often see teams act in a way that is contrary to what you and I would do, and I think that's what's going to happen with CP.
Yeah, and that would parallel a title-winning move that the Milwaukee Bucks made in the early 1970s. They had a dominant young star who scored around the rim, and they added an old veteran Hall of Fame point guard, except in that case it was Oscar Robertson and the then Lou Alcindor, and that 71 Bucks team was one of the most dominant of all time. So we're back here now. Rob Williams remains in the game. Here's Siakam on a little flex cut. Well contested, though, by Brown. He got through it and could not get a good look at it. Now it's Tatum. Fouled by Marc Gasol. He got the left forearm onto him. And you could see that they changed up what they wanted to do on that pick and roll play, with Gasol getting further out on the floor than he did last time.
Here's a prediction: Robert Williams is going to slip one soon. Get right to the basket if they're going to bring him out more.
Yeah, see, this is the other thing they needed to do is because of that box and one, then you get Gasol onto Walker, and they feel that crisis, and Marcus Smart ends up getting wide open. Lowry has to help. So that's the other thing they didn't do at all in attacking this was to have Gasol's man screen for Kemba off the ball. Now here's Lowry, very deep three. Wanted the call, and that's going to leave his flop, leads to a dunk by Jaylen Brown, or I should say a layup. And that's the risk that you take in that situation, to fall down with no contact, and you give up a layup on the other end.
Yeah, and that's also the guy contesting, continuing down the floor. He's not a big man like Anthony Davis, but something we're seeing more throughout the NBA.
Lowry rejecting the screen. Gasol, Siakam made the cut instead of staying in the corner. Now he's picked up his dribble. Wants it back against Rob Williams. This could be a foul here. Siakam tries to spin back. He's always got to spin back to that right hand. Great defense without fouling by Williams. Boston looking to build on a 10-0 run. Smart. Uh-oh. 19-7 Boston Celtics.
And they've gotten better looks so far. This is not necessarily the story of one team is getting great looks and missing it. The other team's doing better. No, Boston's gotten better shots.
Van Vliet, he'll get the three, but well harassed. Doesn't matter. He drained it. They needed that one desperately. Toronto within 9. I think that's one, though, that the Celtics will live with to some degree. Here's Walker getting past Siakam into the lane. Stop from behind by Siakam. Again, they need to set that.
Great recovery.
They got to set that screen in the area of Marc Gasol. Now Gasol's three. Man, he just cannot get the touch. I think, and Ibaka is at the table. See how long it takes Nurse to go to that small group, and we're going to get a foul on Rob Williams as that, and that one is actually on Jason Tatum. He went too early, but Rob Williams, you got to know that if you're not going to get there, you're not going to get there. You can always just reverse the screen back later.
Yeah, I echo that. I was going to make a whole point about Tatum going too early and screwing the big man there, but I should have thought that you, as a big man, would get to that point quickly.
Norm Powell has come on for the first Raptors substitutions of the game. Looks like Ibaka is in as well. We'll see. I assume it's been a departure for Gasol. And Siakam is out as well. Lowry guarded by Smart. Posting up Ibaka. Great hands, great hook shot. And right away, Serge Ibaka, he has been the superior player to Marc Gasol in this particular series to me.
Yeah, and notable and correct that Daniel Tice came back in, that they pulled Robert Williams, because Williams has had real trouble with Ibaka.
Tatum can't really turn the corner and tried to throw it up. That was almost a Lonzo Ball-esque, or sorry, a LaMelo Ball-esque floater. Tried to draw the foul, but could not get it. Tatum has made a couple crazy floaters so far in this game. Neither of them, I think, particularly intentional. Now Lowry wants to go to his left and shoot the jump shot. No, shoots it to his right instead. In and out. Great box out by Smart on Ibaka. Boston still by 9. Tice trying to post up. Good pass to Wanamaker, but Powell with an excellent closeout. Now it's Brown guarded by Ibaka. Brown pulling up off the dribble. Misses that. Goes for a no-hope offensive rebound. Let's see what happens after that. It's Powell right down for the dunk.
And great hustle there to take advantage of what was basically a 4-on-3. And Powell, nobody stopped the man with the ball.
You knew it was coming the moment Jaylen Brown went for that offensive rebound and didn't get it. Now here's Tatum against Van Vliet into the lane. Oh, nice twirling pass to set up Brown, but Brown has not had the touch from outside. Now they forgot who they had, but Tice still somehow recovers on Lowry. Now it's Anunoby. He goes up over Tice and scores.
Yeah, and OG Anunoby, offensive rebounds, such a huge swing overall in this series. He had, I think, 5 in Game 6.
Yeah, look at this dunk by Powell right down. But it all started, of course, with Jaylen Brown, who is he's struggling a little bit here.
Oh, we got the question from Zach Schnecker on Twitter, on Periscope, of is Kyle Lowry a Hall of Famer? You're more of the basketball historian than me, So I'll let you talk first on that.
Yeah, I think once he got the championship last year, and did he make the All-Star team again this year? He did, right?
I believe he did,
Yeah,
yes.
so I granted it's in the East, but I think also the understanding of advanced stats is something that's going to help him as time goes on. Although that selection process is so nebulous, it's not like there's writers who are doing this, and that it could just be that it could be controlled by a 120-year-old Jerry Colangelo 40 years from now. You never know, but generally, I think there's more of an awareness about that stuff.
I was going to look up how many, because one of the proxies I use, and Curtis Harris, historian, brought up to me that I probably shouldn't necessarily use All NBA with older players, is that because the All NBA it's changed around a couple times, but it is a decent proxy. Kyle Lowry's only been an All NBA player once in his career, was third team in 15-16. So for me, like players who are consistently All NBA are no doubters, and then beyond that, it gets a little nebulous. But yeah, I'd say he probably gets in.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's an interesting one from Zach Brown. So everyone seems to think CP3 to the Bucks is going to happen, but does that even address the Bucks half court issues? It definitely helps. I mean, I think that Chris Paul is a good operator there. He can find he's a reliable pick and roll executor. It would change the Bucks offense fundamentally, but I don't think it would change their identity. And also, he's a wonderful defensive player, and that was something you and I talked about on the kind of the wrap up a little bit of the Bucks is like doing something with Eric Bledsoe could fundamentally change their defense. But Chris Paul, he's not the same type of defender, but he is a very good one.
Yeah, and he could also be part of the Bucks doing a little more switching potentially, but just having that option of a guy who can get to a mid-range jump shot late in games against a conventional pick and roll defense and force you to put two on the ball and run some pick and roll with Giannis. I think they generally should be doing more pick and roll, get better at that. So I think that it would help now, if they're going to start switching everything, if they have that kind of personnel, then maybe that changes. But then you in theory, could go to Giannis if they're going to switch a small guard onto him if he's setting the screen for Chris Paul. And Chris Paul has had a few clutch time foibles over the years, but he certainly has way more experience in those areas than the Bucks do, and Paul has generally been pretty good in the playoffs. So, I mean, now the injury risk, of course, is massive. And the other question, too, would be if Giannis were to return, what are you doing in terms of the luxury tax? I mean, my prediction is it's more likely than not that he doesn't go there. I just think he's the most likely team because as of now, there isn't another team that makes a ton of sense for me.
Plurality, not majority.
Yeah.
We'll get to that one maybe at the next break.
Yeah, and I thought, hey, maybe if Giannis signs that extension this summer, then the Paul market opens up because teams aren't hoarding 2021 cap space anymore. But I don't expect that to be the case. I don't think he's going to sign that extension now after that exit. They remain in the box at 1 with now Powell guarding Kemba Walker. Here's Tatum, extends, not far enough though. Oh, and Siakam was out of bounds. Foolish pass by Ibaka, and just a total giveaway.
Well, no, I think what happened there, I think Siakam thought the ball had already been inbounded, but he came in. Oh, never mind. I get what you were saying.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. I got confused just like Pascal Siakam.
They get it into Tice. Great contest by Ibaka. Still one of the best rim protectors in the NBA. Great job by Ojale getting back on Van Vliet. Tice calling out that. Now here's Thomas off the screen. Nice little play there. That is a really, really nice play, and I believe that's just improvised for Thomas to come all the way over from the weak side to get that.
And that's what you get with Mr. 99%.
So Boston had led by 11, 19-8. Toronto right back, as would befit this series. Tatum against Siakam. And Tatum just has not really been able to get it going in isolation against either Siakam or Anunoby in recent games. I still think the Celtics need to get Walker going more here. Here's Wanamaker for 3, not even close. Particularly with this group when they're in the box and 1, they got to find a way to get Walker more involved. Here's Ibaka, his 3. Man, Serge Ibaka is shooting lights out as once more they've tried to go with Tice here to get more mobility out there, but he just didn't quite recognize quickly enough that he needed to get back on that pick and pop. Now Tice, another mid-ranger. I mean, that's Toronto will just take that to the bank all day. Tice shooting floaters and mid-rangers. Trying the pick and pop again. Ibaka feeling it. A little short that time. He did not quite have his feet set. He needs to have his feet set when he shoots that. Now Tatum going at Ibaka. And Ibaka will pick up the foul. He did not argue the call.
And also worth noting on that last one, Van Vliet helped set up the pick and pop three by just basically driving into Tice and preventing the help from coming out anyway. But Ibaka, he couldn't hit it. He actually probably had a little bit longer, but you get into a rhythm of how long you have to take the shot, and Ibaka shot it within that range.
Yeah, and Fred Van Vliet, when he's doing that, it's great technique. He's just trying to get, he's not trying to get to the basket. He's just trying to get to a place where it feels like Daniel Tice needs to guard him to prevent him from getting to the basket, and that's when you can throw the ball back. And I think the Celtics might consider switching that. I would like to see what Fred VanVleet's going to do in a switch against Daniel Tice. Thomas coming off screens on the near side. He's got a look. Tatum runs him off. Great job by Wanamaker switching out as well. Now Siakam will have to create against Wanamaker. They keep him off the right hand again. He'll go to the left. He has to go back to the right again. And Wanamaker fouls him. I thought that might have been a bailout. Let's see if we can catch a better look at it.
That looked clean to me, but we didn't have the greatest angle for seeing his left hand.
Yeah, he may have come down the forearm of Siakam on that, but it will be a shooting foul in favor of Pascal Siakam.
Yeah, and both teams are in the bonus. I believe that's because Boston was fouled in the last 2 minutes. So because neither team committed that many fouls in there, but it's the timing of it. It's 3 fouls for Toronto so far, 2 fouls for Boston. But each team's still in the bonus. And nobody in foul trouble. Nobody has more than 1 foul so far. And that's really what you want in a Game 7. I would much prefer to have fouls not determine who wins the game. Though they are a part of the game, of course.
Yeah, so both coaches going relatively liberally to their benches right now. With Lowry out, it's still Powell guarding Kemba Walker. They have Kemba come off the screen. That's what you do. And no, I think he stepped on the sideline, but that's the right process again. To have whoever is guarding, or whoever Serge Ibaka is guarding in the zone, set the screen for him. They should just run that over and over and over again and force Serge Ibaka to switch on him. Now, Nick Nurse saying guys should cross. They got to get the 2-for-1 here, but not a ton of alacrity once more. Yeah, he's just backing it out. They're not going fast enough. Here's Van Vliet on the pick and pop. Yes, Fred Van Vliet starting to heat up. About a 5-second differential. I would have liked them to go a little earlier, but if you can get 3 points, that makes it look a lot better. Tatum will hold it against the zone. He'll try Van Vliet. Crossing over, gets help from Thomas. Pass is too late to Ojale, but he hits the 3 anyway. Nice job by Ojale. Here's time for Van Vliet. They got to meet him high here. He's going to take it deep. Woo!
Oh, so close. So at the end of the first quarter, Toronto is up 27-26. I was going to say very offensive first quarter, but I had the stats from the last game. But still decent from Toronto's perspective. 112.5 offensive rating compared to 104 for Boston, as Boston had an extra possession. And again, just like I talked about in the first game, very low turnover. 3 turnovers for the Raptors, 2 turnovers for the Celtics. And of those combined 5, only 2 of them were live balls. So that's also contributed to the reliance on half-court offense so far.
What would this series look like if Hayward were playing?
Yeah, that was the question I wanted to do before. So I think Boston's defense would have been less stout because they would be starting Hayward instead of Marcus Smart, and Smart has it's given Toronto fewer places to attack, but they would have another capable shooter out there a lot, and also Boston's rotation would be so much deeper. Would have been a lot less Wanamaker, and I think Wanamaker's played relatively well, but I would expect Hayward would have been better.
All right, I gotta load up on some tea here. I'll be right back.
For Tatum development, do you prefer him to do better making floaters or fade away from the post? I don't love Tatum as a post-up player because I think he's more of an opportunistic guy, and because he's not like he has good positional size, but I mean, if theoretically if you get a small guy on him, so if he's initiating on pick and like depending on how you're using him as a pick and roll guy, but the floater there'll be lots of times when he can't get all the way to the basket, and so having a good floater means that you have another thing that you trust there, and we've seen a lot of players really benefit from that. I think of Trae Young being helped by that, and Luka in another way too. Contact layups, sure. I mean, but that's kind of understood. Like, I mean, it's kind of like if the contact layups come, then we get that. But that's like Damian Lillard's gotten better at finishing through contact and stuff. But that's I think that's a little bit different as a instead of skill development, it's like getting stronger. What brand model headphones? I'm using Sennheisers. I can't remember the exact model. I could look it up, but I'm very happy with them. Does Houston find a way to pick up Ojale this summer? No. I mean, so Ojale is in the situation. I would like to think of a better player to use for this because Jokic is high profile, but also so good that it feels non-representative. But so basically the way it works is Boston has a team option at the minimum for next year. And if they decline it, Ojale is a restricted free agent. And if they pick it up, then he is on the team for the minimum. Theoretically, Boston could trade him. But I think if they decline the option, it's because they think the market is going to be so weak for Ojale, which I would agree with. I actually think tactically, depending on the luxury tax bill, that could be a smart play. But it's hard for him to end up anywhere else because Boston should want him. I think that Ojale is a very good player. How do you take notes for games? Well, it really depends. It's a real challenge in some respects for an NBA cast game because sometimes Ben can help us and kind of keep track of some of the things we said. But normally I use various notes functions. It could be my phone. It could also be a Google Doc or a Word doc and go into it that way. And so yeah, usually try to do that. Mine are generally combination of big picture things and then specific plays that I want to make sure to mention. That's usually how mine end up working out. Could and should the Blazers trade their 16th pick to go get Crowder? Jay Crowder is an unrestricted free agent, so they can't, but they might be able to get him with the mid-level exception.
Yeah, or potentially a sign and trade. All right, here we go. We're back. Lowry has returned after a 3-minute break. Siakam against Ojale. Oh, see, they didn't keep him off the right hand, but Tice comes over to erase him.
Yeah, beautiful help there, realizing what was going, and also betting Siakam. I mean, why would he look for the pass there? And Siakam had a good shot to get back.
Here's Ibaka into the lane. Smart helps out. They throw it away. Thomas recovers though. Powell's 3 over Walker. Misses that. Ibaka on the tip, but it goes right to Semi Ojale. Jaylen Brown is back. Walker just gives it up. He's going to come off a couple of screens here to try to get Matt Thomas on him. They don't actually switch that, though. Now it's Tice on the roll. Saw it a little late. Late clock. Smart. Can't get it off. Oh, and he's hit by Pascal Siakam.
And that's Siakam's first, so it's not like he's in foul trouble. But that is a bailout in the sense that it didn't look like Boston was going to get anything on the possession. Now they get 14. Oof, right in the face.
Yeah, that one, pretty clear foul.
Yes.
Apparently not review worthy, however, thankfully. Let's watch Walker again here, coming across the near side, and Powell runs into him. They don't give him that call. Brown going baseline, and his pass, no, it's not deflected. He's saying it was. Scott Foster says, no, how could I have, Jaylen Brown says, how could I have thrown such a bad pass if it weren't deflected?
Ojale thought it was deflected too, because that's why he didn't grab it. Ojale might not have been able to catch it anyway, but maybe.
Ibaka, they want him to screen away for Thomas. Kyle Lowry points him in that direction. Now it's Lowry setting the pick or setting the screen, and then it's turned over. The drive by Brown in transition. Toronto with the turnover. Boston back in front. Lowry tried a nifty left-handed pass, but Boston doing a good job of packing the paint early here.
And you could also see how ineffective Matt Thomas was as a transition defender there.
Here's Siakam on the drive over Daniel Tice. And those are the shots that he's made a living on the last couple of years that just haven't gone down for him in this series. That's a key shot. Nice extension. Here's a three from Marcus Smart. Tice going for the rebound. He's going to be behind the play now. Let's see if Toronto can push it. Nope. Good job getting back. They're going to switch this. Now they want to post up Ibaka against Ojale. Not really an advantage matchup as far as I'm concerned. And what are we going to get here?
I think they called the forearm from Semi Ojale.
Yeah, couldn't really see much from that angle. So, yeah, so some of the all-star officiating crew here. Zach Zarba, Scott Foster. They get it into Siakam against Ojale again. They want to get Powell. He'll drive. Tice can't get over there that time. He went right past Walker. Toronto extends to a 3-point advantage. Back to the box and one. Smart. Tice on the roll, and he's fouled by Anunoby.
And we'll keep an eye on it. That I believe that's Anunoby's second. Might be his first, but I thought I remembered him committing one the first quarter, sorry.
Yeah.
I guess it was his first.
I mean, the beauty of the box and one is that it just makes you do something completely different from what you would normally do. And it's a tough decision for Brad Stevens. Are they going to just kind of run their normal offense and keep everyone involved? Because if they do that, then Kemba Walker is not going to be involved. Now, maybe that's the best way to win the game, to say, hey, we're just going to play 4-on-4 on offense every time, that we're going to be better off doing that because there is more space, obviously. But that said, as Tice can't get the second one, you want Walker to be involved in some fashion. And so, but if you make that your sole focus, now you're taking everyone else out of what makes them comfortable and what they want to do. And there's only so many things you can do to get them involved. So it's a very difficult dance. That's the beauty of that defense. Lowry, nice job there, as the miscommunication between Smart and Tice was forced by Lowry just continuing to compete. And I don't know why it was that Marcus Smart left Serge Ibaka there to go pick up Lowry again.
Yeah, it was like a scram when the other guy has the ball.
Here's Brown to his left. Underneath Tice. Nice pass. Tice did not go up with it, though. Instead, it's Ojale. Big three. He'll get it back off the rebound. Brown can't hit one. He's 0 for 5 from 3.
Yeah, Boston's missed a lot of them early.
Shaping up in similar fashion in Game 4. Now Lowry with a quick pull-up. I thought Brown, again, wasn't quite ready for that. That's a Kyle Lowry special. Now Brown trying to get past Lowry. Blocking foul rightfully called there.
Yeah, I mean, Lowry kind of tried to guess a spot and get there, but he wasn't there before Jaylen Brown. No, that's a defensive foul.
I mean,
and that is Lowry's first. Still, nobody in the game has 2 fouls.
Hopefully that will continue to be a non-factor. Van Vliet returning after a 3-minute break as well. Powell sits down. Van Vliet probably is going to go find Kemba Walker. Good minutes for Norm Powell. And with Walker now out, they go to more of a 2-3 look. Rob Williams is back in. Here's Smart way over the backboard on the floater. And yes, Serge Ibaka does intimidate a little bit at the rim.
The NBA does not yet have a rock and jock over the second basket over the first basket.
Yeah, Smart took that whole new game thing a little literally. You're not supposed to shoot it over the backboard. Don't get points for that. Van Vliet snaking pick and roll. Rob Williams with the switch. He wants it back now. Let's see. He's going to look to pull up for 3 here. Instead, it's the drive. Gets right into him with his body. And again, Rob Williams utterly ineffective. And looks like a timeout coming here for Boston. I think we might see Grant Williams replacing Robert Williams after this.
And remember, early on, this was a 19-7 lead for the Celtics, and it's been a 28 to 10 run since then for the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah, catch up on some of the stats overall. Toronto actually 110 offensive rating. And actually, here I got to get my stats off of the Nuggets Clippers game. So maybe we can take some questions while I look at that.
What series have you learned the most? Like, basically, what series have you learned the most about a team? Um, I was impressed by Denver's defensive resilience in in their first round series against the Jazz. I thought that was a real growth point. I mean, unfortunately, learned about the general lack of resilience, versatility for the Bucks. Was another reminder of that against the Heat.
Yeah, it's got to be the Bucks, right?
I think
either
it
the Bucks or
probably
the
does.
Heat. I mean, that when you have an upset like that, that's going to be your natural selection, right?
I'm trying to think if there's anything like those are really the two that come to
Philly?
mind for me. No, I mean, especially with Simmons being out, I think that was something different.
Yeah, I mean, we picked that in 6 though, and they got swept.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
What is wrong with Kemba? It's the defense.
Yeah,
It's
it really is.
the box and one defense. And now, I mean, Boston's getting very good shots though, Danny. Right? Like I would actually say that the Boston's defense has been the bigger problem lately. And I mean, they've gotten 7 corner threes already. They're getting good shots. They've got 8 shots at the rim. Shot distribution is totally fine. So can't say that I think there's a big problem with the process, even if it looks ugly when Kemba Walker is not actually scoring the points himself.
From Elliot Witherland, how did the Mavs get the space to sign Giannis? Who else from the current Mavs would be on that team? And the answer is almost everybody. Tim Hardaway Jr. would be gone, but Dallas, depending on where the cap ends up, they have a lot of guys on low salaries. Luka Doncic will still be on his rookie scale contract, so they basically, without signing any new players, have max cap space for 21 as of this moment. It would be pretty easy. How long does Kyle Lowry have left at this level? It's really hard to say. I'm guessing is keeping up defensively. His game is very strength based now, but I would guess like maybe a year, maybe 2, something like that. That'd be my best guess. Let's see.
How are the Raptors finding success on offense in their wins? I mean, the threes are going down, number one. I mean, that's really it. Like the Ibaka pick and pop has been huge. That's probably the one most reliable way they've had to get a shot. Overall, though, I don't think their offense has been particularly strong, other than just, they have guards who are really good above the break 3-point shooters. When Van Vliet and Lowry can get their drive game going and use their bodies a little bit, that's been effective at times, but not necessarily something that they can rely on 100%.
And quickly for Boston's threes, they've had 7 corners and made 2 of those. Oh, we're back.
Yeah, still in the box at 1. You see Van Vliet not even letting Walker get the ball. They want Tatum to just go at Lowry. This is not really a huge advantage matchup. And Lowry falls down. Offensive foul given in favor of Kyle Lowry against Tatum. And I mean, that play, they just haven't gotten anything out of that ISO at the free throw line from Tatum. I do think that Tatum's approach there, if he has anything, it should be just take one hard dribble and just pull up and use his size over the defender if it is Lowry. Against Siakam or Anunoby, I'm not sure there is that much he can do from that position, frankly. Rob Williams remains in the game. Jaylen Brown getting through the screen nicely. That time Williams closed down the pick and pop, and then they throw it away. Brown looking to attack. Nice fake Euro step, and he finishes. He's run into as well by Siakam for a 3-point play opportunity.
And that is only so Boston. This is incredible. They're 6 of 9 in the restricted area, and then they basically haven't really made anything anywhere else. What I was getting to before is they've made 2 of 7 corner threes and 2 of 11 above the break.
And that's a nice little counter. A lot of times guys expect you to go to the Euro step, so that was kind of a fake Euro step from Jaylen Brown. He jabbed out with that right foot like he was going to go the other direction as he misses the free throw. Did hit 2 key free throws at the end of the first overtime in game 1 to tie it back up. Now it's Van Vliet attacking Rob Williams. Williams switching back onto him, calls the late switch. They kick out nicely, so Walker's not stuck on Ibaka. And Anunoby one-on-one against Tatum. Not an advantage matchup, and that's way short. But Ibaka over Brown, and he scores.
And that's a lack of awareness from Robert Williams. He needed to get in there and actually establish position because Jaylen Brown was trying to box out Serge Ibaka.
Yeah, I think that's true, right? Like, it was an unlucky bounce, but the other guys should have been able to jump higher than Ibaka because he's engaged there. Now Tatum on the drive. Misses another easy floater, but it's Rob Williams right there for the big dunk. Again,
Speaking of jumping high.
Again, it's that same 1 foot shooting it like you're shooting a jump shot motion on a layup for Tatum that just hasn't worked at all. Here's Ibaka. Late close from Williams. Picked up by Kemba Walker. I think in the fast break particularly, they got to get Kemba going more than that. Yeah, I thought he gave that up too easily. Here's Smart getting past Siakam. Pump fake. Leaves for Williams. He'll get it back out. Still 8 on the clock. Tatum fading away over Ibaka. Way short. Wow, Smart is so quick to just cut off Van Vliet there. Ibaka feeling the 3. Short, but he's run into by Walker, and he'll get 3 throws.
Yeah, and that looks like a legitimate foul to me on the first look.
Yeah,
and that was a really late closeout by Kemba too.
Yeah, one of the benefit, and I mean that's obviously a ridiculous flop afterwards by Ibaka, but yeah, he hits that right leg. Pretty good call. And one of the benefits of taking contested 3-pointers is sometimes they foul you.
Yeah, it's true. And 3 free throws, the most valuable shot in the NBA, is something that John Hollinger has talked about well before, and something that you and I both think should change.
Yeah, Ibaka generally not the guy who's going to get 3 throws, though.
That's true.
Ibaka came to the Raptors a couple of iterations ago of this team and then re-signed on a 3-year deal for over $60 million. He could have been a free agent. Remember, he was traded from Oklahoma City to Orlando in a total head-scratcher of a move by the Magic. One of the worst trades, I would say, of the last 5 years before the 16-17 season. And this will be interesting now, Dave. We're going to see Ibaka and Gasol together, which they went to very briefly, I believe, in Game 1 with Siakam in foul trouble. And it did okay. That was a big lineup for them when Van Vliet and Danny Green were really struggling against the Sixers last year. But this is different. So I'm not sure with Walker in here whether they're going to be in the box in 1 still. Yeah, it looks like they are. But this is 2 guys who can't handle Walker. If you set a screen on the baseline, you force one of those guys to guard Walker. Here's Brown setting up Smart. Gets past Van Vliet, but missing the 3-pointer. Smart has perfected that sidestep move, but couldn't get the shot. Now the rejection of the screen, but Smart intercepts as they tried to throw it back. He's got Tatum on the alley-oop. Beautiful timing there from Smart. He led him perfectly.
Yeah, it was a parallel to, I think that was in Game 5, where Smart had a good defensive play and then had an assist to Daniel Tice.
Van Vliet, they're trying to post up Ibaka against Smart. Smart goes down like he was shot, and he gets the call.
Oh, boy. And it is sometimes risky to do kind of the equivalent of a veer back, but Fred VanVleet only had a kind of a narrow passing window there, and Marcus Smart made the gamble that that's where he was looking, got the steal, and then that led to an easy bucket.
Here's Walker again. I mean, they're at least letting him bring the ball up before he gives it away and doesn't touch it the rest of the time. Smart doesn't make contact on the screen. They want to pick and pop him. Now he's going to drive. Goes for the floater. He went through Van Vliet. Marcus Smart has been one of the best players for Boston tonight. Back within 3. Nice response from the Celtics, who trailed by 7. Here's Lowry along the baseline, and he's run into in obvious fashion by Rob Williams. And Rob Williams is clearly struggling with the pulls of being aggressive and giving up fouls, or just trying so hard not to foul that they're able to just drive right by him and score on him.
Well, and on that one, Williams was late. He wanted to get there. He thought that was important, and Lowry's going to get that foul every time.
Here's Anunoby trying to get open underneath. Good denial by the Celtics. Now Anunoby going at Tatum. They called this play. This is interesting. Williams coming over to help. Anunoby just lost it. Can they get something in transition finally? Walker is open. Tatum did not see him. Now Tatum tries to draw another BS foul, and hopefully he's okay. He looked like he got knocked out of the play. Yeah, he's fine. And then Van Vliet goes into the trees. He loses it. Walker, remembering what the orange feels like, tries to set up Brown, who saves it in. And no, he was out of bounds on the baseline. Sorry about that. And we will get a timeout from the Raptors after a ragged couple minutes of action there.
Yeah, and we talked about this as a possibility for Toronto to stay close. The Raptors 5 of 14 from 3, and Boston 4 of 19. Neither team getting to the free throw line much, 5 attempts for each side. And Boston's had a few offensive rebounds. It's 4-2 in their advantage. But the overall possession game, it is in Boston's favor, but not super dramatically so far. They've had well, I guess they've had 5 additional attempts. So I guess that is pretty significant in a game like this.
Yeah, favorite basketball movie, I think probably going to be Hoop Dreams, I would say.
Yeah, Hoop Dreams is wonderful. I'm not a huge fan. I don't know why. I've been a huge sports fan my entire life. I've never been a huge fan of sports movies. I'm not exactly sure why that is.
Because the sports part of it usually sucks would be my thought.
That's
why it's a documentary for me.
Yeah.
Like the basketball action is always just like, I just can't help but think of like how unrealistic it is.
From Jeff Gass, how high does Daniel Tice rank on the all-time just find an unknown player in Europe and sign him and he's great value list? Pretty damn high. I mean, in terms of players that don't have a ton of pedigree, I'm trying to because there are obviously a lot of European players that have come over and done well, but yeah, I think he's pretty high. Patrick Beverley. Patrick Beverley played in Europe, but I guess he's not a European player.
Yeah.
I will only speak to this as a fake trade. Apparently, Bill Simmons said the Mavs should trade Porzingis for Hield and Bagley. I can give a very quick no. Yeah,
that doesn't seem like a good idea.
Elliot Litherland one just point out that Tatum and Brown are 22 and 23. They're so good already. The Celtics got to keep them together. Well, I think they have to keep them together unless they can get something amazing. Like I floated the idea in my Giannis piece of theoretically, if Giannis were interested, you'd obviously want some sort of commitment that he'd re-sign. Using Jaylen Brown in a Giannis trade would be a worthwhile thing, and I think those guys would actually fit pretty well together. That's the sort of thing that you aim. If you're going to break it up, you're aiming high. You're not aiming low. I think their games fit together beautifully.
Yeah, that would be fascinating if they actually tried to move Jaylen Brown. He would have a lot of value, I think. But he also I think is in the perfect role for him in Boston as really kind of a tertiary creator, but who still has a lot more scoring ability than most of those guys do, and then excellent defender and a quality spot-up shooter.
Let's see. Tyson Brody said Nurse shut down Curry and now Kemba. I do not think Curry was shut down in those finals. They did a great job of limiting him, but I think he averaged like 29 or something like that in that finals. Yeah. And the Warriors didn't. They a lot of times what it was challenging other guys to hit shots, and their other guys could not. It was a beautiful strategy. I thought Nick Nurse did an exceedingly good job, but I don't think he shut down Steph Curry.
Yeah, and also, especially in that game 3, like Steph Curry had 47 when the Warriors basically had nobody else available who could do anything in that game.
Yeah.
And Steph hit huge shots in game 2 and game 3 or game 5, the 2 games that they won. I think they had a good strategy on him. I think they did a good job. But I think saying that they shut him down is a little bit much. So a stretch of 4 straight turnovers, probably as good a time as any for a timeout by Nick Nurse. Here's Gasol at the elbow. Ibaka is out. He came in pretty early. Here's Lowry, mid-ranger. Missed that as Tice is back in. So it's the starters now for Boston. Rob Williams got plenty of run here early on, and they've survived it. Now Walker switched onto by Anunoby. He'll drive it. Tough shot in the lane. Kemba Walker gets it to go. I mean, that's not the shot you want to make a living on, but I think there is an argument that he should force it on occasion. Lowry trying to draw the foul. Can't. Oh, Smart shot out of a cannon for the loose ball, and he'll go in for the layup. What
that
a
was
play.
Amazing. And Smart wasn't even involved in the play. He just saw it coming and sprinted.
Now Anunoby in the corner. Gasol, who has not been able to get going from the outside. Anunoby behind the screen. Not necessarily his shot, although he shot it better from three in these playoffs. Here's Walker. He'll take the pull-up from deep. Not there.
Yeah,
I like the aggression
like
and transition, though.
Some of the Jaylen Brown ones were leaning forward, not quite set, rushed a little bit.
Gasol trying to bring his man out of the corner. I didn't see what happened on that play. Did you catch it?
It might have been an illegal screen by OG. Let me look. They called a travel.
On Marc Gasol. Okay.
That is the benefit of being slightly behind. I can check the box score.
Smart swings it around. It's Tice trying to get it to Walker, is being denied. Walker says just go back to Smart. Good denial by Powell. Smart has Jaylen Brown. This is wide open. They need it, and they get it. And now Boston back up four. We've seen some yo-yoing here. And Pascal Siakam really had to help a lot. That's their scheme. They give up corner threes, but that was a pretty easy play to make for Boston. They want to bring Siakam out of the corner. Walker switching on to him. Now it's Van Vliet. Tice coming out late. Van Vliet short on that one, though. Throw it ahead to Tatum. He's got the size advantage on Van Vliet. Just doesn't attack, though. Now he wants to go back to goal. Let's see if help comes over. Tatum has space. Oh, Van Vliet got a hand on it as he tried to go to that Dirk fade. What defense? Throw it back to him. Late in the clock. Siakam should come double here. Tough fadeaway from Tatum. And, man, Van Vliet really has him timed out. He's bothering him with that strip move.
Yeah, that was a masterpiece of a possession by Van Vliet on a guy that's taller than you.
Yeah, Tatum looking a little tired right now, actually. And that Van Vliet getting Gasol easily there. Tatum could not get through the screen. Here's Smart against Gasol. Brown sneaking through underneath. Tough fadeaway jumper. What's hang time from Jaylen Brown? Smart going under the screen on Lowry. Gasol closed down by Tice. Here's a three off that screening action on the weak side, but Van Vliet has missed two in a row now.
Yeah, he's now 2 for 4 from 3 in this game.
Walker gets the drag screen in transition. Now he can attack Gasol into the mid-range. Fades away and scores. And I think every single time on a miss, you got to say, throw the ball to Kemba Walker and let him attack the defense that isn't set yet. That's where he can get his offense most easily. Off the ball, Van Vliet, as Brown goes under, not looking to take the shot after a couple of misses. Gasol on the roll. Tatum coming over. Tatum strips him, but a foul is called. Tatum saying that should be a jump ball, and I sure as heck didn't see a ton of contact there. Or we may not see it for a second, but I thought Gasol just brought it right into Tatum's body and lost it.
Yeah, and I thought Tatum got there a little bit late, and see, because that was a little bit of a floaty pass, but it did seem like he got ball to me. And I guess they're just not showing it.
Yeah, in the bonus, maybe not a shooting foul under ordinary circumstances, but Gasol will get a chance to see the ball go through the hoop a couple of times here at the line. Boston will have a chance to get the 2 for 1. Interesting, Danny, that we did not see at all the OG at center lineup here in the first half. What do you make of that?
I think they are going to go to it late, but I think both these teams know how exhausted their teams are and that they don't want to do that early. And we put more miles on before what's going to be, I think, an insane closing stretch.
All right, keep an eye on the 2 for 1 here. They've probably got about 10 seconds or so to get that. Again, they're not pushing it up too hard. Walker off the screen. So they're not switching that now, setting it with Gasol's man. They're back in a man-to-man. Double team. Here's Tice going right in. Stopped by Siakam, but it goes right to Jaylen Brown.
But they didn't. I don't think they got the 2-for-1. I think Toronto will get the last real shot of this half.
Yeah, about a 2.5 second differential right now. Boston calling out the matchups beyond the play. They want to pre-switch here so that they don't get caught with a big man in pick and roll. Here's Van Vliet going at Tatum. Scores over Tatum. Jason Tatum has been beaten a couple of times here by Van Vliet now, but 4 seconds. They got to pressure up here so they can't just roll the ball up the floor. Walker going into Lowry. No call is made, and it'll be a 4-point halftime lead for the Boston Celtics going into half. And yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, it's so far it's been a very defensive or at least missed shot heavy first half. Boston leading with a 102 offensive rating. Toronto 95-8, 46 points on 48 possessions.
All right, so I think because we started early here with Clippers Denver and we don't have a sponsor, we'll probably just take almost all a halftime off, so maybe come back a couple of minutes beforehand. So get a snack, everyone. All right, fresh off a wolf down tuna sandwich, I am back. So we'll catch up here on some of the first half stats. Defensive struggle once again. 102 offensive rating for Boston, 50 points on 49 possessions. Toronto 46 on 48. A little faster pace than it's been. I expect that to slow down a little bit in the second half as guys play more minutes, get a little more tired. How are things looking just generally on the minutes totals here?
So pretty manageable so far. A lot of guys in the low 20s. Kemba, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, those guys are all, and Van Vliet, all 21, 22. But nothing, nobody at the like around 20, 24 just yet. What I think is most telling so far is transition. Boston, both teams have been very inefficient in half court offense, around 80 points per possession. But Boston has only been in a half court 2/3 of the time because they've run not only on steals, but they've run off of live rebounds 50% of the time, which is incredibly high. And that's part of that's given them part of this margin.
Yeah, it's been a 7 steal first half, 10 total turnovers for the Raptors, and Boston really should be up by more, but 5 of 22 3-point shooting has really limited them. All right, 2 screens coming here for Van Vliet. Smart steps out, no advantage gain there. Now Gasol into the post against Tice. Wants to get to that hook shot rolling across the lane. Tice knows it, forces the miss. Excellent job there by Daniel Tice.
Nice of them to do a Valanciunas tribute.
Yeah, the post up on the first possession. Here's Tatum. Brown working patiently in the lane. Oh, Siakam just lost Tatum. He finally gets an open look, and it goes down for the first 3-pointer of the half. The Boston Celtics. Siakam just totally lost Tatum for no real reason.
And it's no coincidence Tatum's 2 made threes were on ones where his feet were set and he was in rhythm.
Brown forcing Siakam further out on the floor. Kemba does the same. Now Siakam tries Brown. Brown forces the fumble. Now he'll get a chance on Van Vliet. Van Vliet working into the lane. Stopped by Walker beautifully. Now more transition chances for the Celtics. Tice running the floor. Great job of the Raptors getting back there. Now Tatum wants it against Lowry. He actually pointed to Lowry, but they're going to just switch back here. Not very good process there by Boston to attack the mismatch. Now Tatum just going to go one-on-one against Siakam. Loops a pass. Brown goes to the mid-ranger over Gasol, and it drops. Good start for the Celtics here in this half. Can Toronto respond? Forcing Lowry to his right. Loops it back. That's what he wants. Going to his left. 3-pointer. Curls out.
Well, and remember, Boston was dominant in the starter versus starter minutes at the beginning of the first half as well.
Here's Walker. Oh, he's got the step on Gasol. Gasol! And he got him with the chest. I thought he had the block for a second.
Yeah, that was a foul on Gasol. He was still moving into Kemba Walker's body, even though the top was clean, the bottom was not.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look at if the defense has changed at all on Walker. He did not get those kind of just straight normal pick and roll possessions against Marc Gasol in the first half of the last 2 games. Walker bricks the first free throw, though. That could have made it a double-digit lead, but he'll have another opportunity there.
Yeah, I believe that is the 3rd missed free throw. That's the 3rd missed free throw for the Boston Celtics so far.
Walker with another, of course, signed in Boston as a max contract free agent. Missing that one too. Wow, killer for Kemba Walker.
Yeah, 4th missed free throw. They're 3 of 7 now from the free throw line.
Walker switching out onto Lowry. They want to get Van Vliet on the near side. Smart switches onto him. No advantage gain there through that long loop action. Now they'll get the late switch. Gasol knocked down Smart. Now he's got the advantage. Stopped inside, but it goes right to Siakam. And Marcus Smart's flop cost the Celtics that time. All right, let's see what they're in here. Still looking like more of a zone. It may actually... I think this is just still the box and one. And Walker missing that floater. Toronto a chance to respond, as they always seem to in this series. Van Vliet going into Brown, but cut off nicely. Lowry, the mismatch on Tice. Drives him beautifully, and it'll count.
And on the last play, Kemba Walker blew it. Something that they did so well in Game 6 and in the overtimes was drive and then throw it up to Tice. That pass was right there.
Yeah, clear foul on Tice.
Yeah, and Tice is, I think, trying to argue that Lowry cleared off with his left arm. They're not. That was not a sufficient one for a foul.
Yeah, so Boston had a 9-point lead with a chance to push to 11. Walker misses 2 free throws. And then Toronto right back with 5 quick points to get into contact once more. Looks like they're still just in the regular box in 1. Swinging around, Tatum getting past Siakam. Likes it to his left, scores it going to his left.
And again, attacks the closeout, feet set, easy 3 for Tatum. That's his best look at a 3.
Lowry going to try and drive on Tice again. Left hand. That time Tice forced a miss without fouling. Excellent defense. Now they get it to Brown. Pick and roll. Back out Walker. He's guarded by Anunoby now in the box in 1. Here's Tatum going at Siakam. Blows another layup. But the size advantage as Gasol in the zone was forced to get out there on Smart. The drive was then there for Tatum, and Tice able to clean up over Lowry, who's nearly a foot shorter. Van Vliet against Jaylen Brown. Blows by him. Tice coming over. Oh, the rejection. Springy by Daniel Tice. And, this should be a shooting foul, Danny. This should be a shooting foul.
I think that's Kyle Lowry getting
He
kind of hoisted by his own
absolutely
petard.
had picked up his dribble with the intention to shoot it before the foul took place. This is not something that can be challenged, to my knowledge. What a block.
And that was not a goaltend. That was a clean block.
Absolutely. Just took it to the glass as you can. And this should absolutely be a shooting foul, though. He picks up the ball and has begun his shooting motion. It's kind of a BS play, but it's also a BS play to foul the guy in transition, right?
Yeah.
I'd rather penalize that. Watch Walker on the weak side. They're just going to play 4-on-4 without him. He's actually open now for the catch and shoot. I don't know how he got so open, but he missed it. Siakam trying Brown. Wants to get back to that right hand. Gets there. Brown let him go. And that was bad defense because he had Tice waiting to help off of Gasol in the middle if he had only forced him that way. 2 screens set here for Walker against the box of 1. They're just going to switch Anunoby onto him. Now they get another screen up. Nice roll. Tice, floater, missed his third one there, but Smart, another great loose ball retrieval. He lost it right to Tice. That's going to be a jump ball.
Yeah, and that was actually a nice job by Smart of making the pass and rolling in and clearing space, but Tice got held up by Pascal Siakam there. Nice job by Siakam to recover.
Another big jump ball. Here's Hayward working before the game. Yeah, I mean, he looks like halfway decent. With that, he looked better than Giannis looked the other day in pregame warm-ups.
Stationary workout.
So 11 on the shot clock. And Smart, another loose ball retrieval. That's going to be something to look at in the stats after this game. Walker. Oh, they reversed the angle. Man, Walker is so crafty as Smart. Another slide by 3, but he airballs it, and that's going to be a shot clock violation. Walker, he is maybe the best in the league at just setting up a screen so that his man just crashes right into it. And you saw that beautiful reverse pivot to do it that time.
I think this is incredible. Boston has 10 corner threes and has made 3 of them. Toronto's only taken 1 in the entire game.
Yeah, you see that we talked about it at length in our Game 6 pod. The difference in both offensive attacks and defensive philosophy is what gives you that. Little loop action here for Powell, forcing him towards the baseline, engaging Tice, trying to work into the mid-range, and Tice is called for the foul with the knee. And yes, a good call.
Was moving into him late. That's the right call. Similar to the one Marc Gasol had on Kemba Walker earlier.
So that still only 2 fouls on Daniel Tice at the moment. Again, nobody in foul trouble. Very low foul game, as can be the case sometimes in Game 7. But Toronto, They have now hit 9 of 9 and only 3 of 7 for the Celtics. Both teams shooting poorly from 3 now. It's 5 of 17 for the Raptors, 7 of 27 for Boston.
Yeah, and while Toronto only has, this will be their 10th free throw, only has a small advantage in attempts because of all those misses from the Celtics. They have a sizable margin points at the line now.
So Walker getting a little bit of a break here. Wanamaker is in. Tice not going to take that 3 in the corner. Smart. They do a good job not switching that, but Wanamaker now can blow by. Gets the drive and kick turn starting. Tice on the catch and shoot. Wanamaker getting inside of Gasol, but it squirts away to Siakam. Trying to keep Siakam away from that screen. Now he uses it going to his left. He cannot get back to his right hand. Van Vliet. Gasol. Oh, that's not a good idea for Wanamaker. They dodged that because he helped to Gasol and let Powell, a far better three-point shooter, get that shot, but he just missed it. Now Tatum going at Gasol. Gasol knocks it away. Anunoby on the break. Fouled from behind by Tice. That'll be his third. And we'll see whether, in fact, this is any sort of a review. Anunoby should definitely stay down to make it seem like he got hurt.
And what hands by Marc Gasol there to just straight up knock the ball, no foul at all, just hits it, and then great recovery there by OG Anunoby to get control and get towards the basket. We'll see if there's a review.
Yeah, this will not be a flagrant foul. Hopefully he's okay, though. He did take a little bit of a tumble into the stanchion. And interestingly, once he actually gathers the ball to shoot it, it cannot be a clear path. If he had grabbed him before he enters the shooting motion, then it could have been a clear path.
Yeah, it's true. See if we have any questions. Are the cons outweighing the pros of the box and one strategy? The Raptors are giving up a ton of open threes and offensive rebounds. I generally agree with that. I think that they've gotten a little bit fortunate that some of these open looks have not fallen. I think that the box and one would make sense if Toronto had worse defensive personnel, but I think they can play them pretty close to straight up.
Well, Walker, they have not had success against Walker in the pick and roll.
Fair enough.
Defensively. Now, Boston doesn't go to that often. So is it worth, they try to get Brown involved. They try to get Tatum involved. So is it worth potentially letting the other guys get off and giving up all these corner threes to stop Walker? I don't know. I mean, I think their defense has been relatively similar, I would say, overall. I mean, you could say just, hey, maybe some of these threes aren't going down because they're not really in rhythm because it's the offense is totally different. Again, a box and one. I mean, maybe you could say that, but I mean, these are pretty open looks, I would posit.
From BR Smith, does Marc Gasol retire this offseason or return to Memphis on a short deal? I think, to an extent, the world is his oyster in terms of what he wants. And if he wants to go to Memphis, sure. I'm guessing they would be willing to have him back. If he wants to go to a championship contender to play a small role, I'm guessing that opportunity will be on the table. He is a supremely competent player that has value. The Zaza Pachulia role of like a center who starts games and doesn't finish them unless it's the right matchup. If Marc Gasol wants that, he can do that. If he wants to be a starter, I'm guessing there are a couple teams that would be interested there. So I'm very interested in what he wants, but I think he will have a place in the league, whatever that is, if he wants that.
Yeah, so it looks like Gasol is going to come out of the game. Ibaka is going to replace him, according to our friends tweeting it right now from the bubble.
And we'll see if that means a Robert Williams potential connection. I can do this one quickly from Carve Cutta. If I subscribe to Dunked on Prime, should I stop my Patreon because it seems like it's not adding anything? That is your choice. We plan on doing Patreon specific stuff, including mailbags and stuff. At least that's my intention to continue that as long as there is sufficient support.
Well, let me clarify that actually. There's what is now the Patreon mailbag will also be on Dunked on Prime. I mean, I think the biggest reason to continue with the Patreon is as an extra, probably I would say to support this program would be the biggest thing.
Sure.
Because we have the bookies thing is a small thing to keep doing this. We're not sponsored today, so that's actually how the Patreon really started, was to support this. So that's probably the biggest reason. But in terms of like, are you specifically getting anything extra? I mean, we're transitioning to Dunked on Prime. There are definitely some redundancies there. understand if you don't want to keep it, but I also wasn't going to like just cancel the Patreon if that's something that a way that people want to support us. You can definitely do that. And particularly people who want to just donate something that's, not part of necessarily a subscription. We have a few people who give us that on Patreon. So figured we'll keep it around. I mean, if it like totally disappears, then obviously we'll stop it. So Anunoby hitting a couple of free throws. Toronto continuing to outperform Boston at the line. That will be something to watch as we get down to the end here. Walker remains on the bench. Tice is open on the back door, but Anunoby just closes him down beautifully. And we're going to get a loose ball foul on Tice. That's 4 now on Daniel Tice.
Yeah, that could potentially be big moving forward. Though Boston, yeah, especially because he's been a part of some of their the closing lineup, of course, in Game 6.
Yeah, and are they going to trust Robert Williams here in this second half? We'll see. This is a great strip by Anunoby, and then this is something that probably should be called more, right? I mean, he's jumping on his back and reaching around him. That's a foul. Van Vliet is smart. He's Velcroed to him getting through that screen. Rob Williams is in. He switches onto him, trying to get Ibaka in the post. Ibaka on the spin against Smart. Man, nice move by Serge Ibaka, who has been an extremely reliable finisher around the rim in this series. So Toronto right back again. It was a 9-point Boston lead. Here's Tatum against Norm Powell. Attacks him. That's an advantage matchup. And that's actually, I thought that was a matchup that Boston should have gone at more when they were in that switching period of Tatum against Norm Powell. He's got the size advantage on him. Norm Powell is not the same as, I think Norm Powell, out of the 5 guys who are out there, Van Vliet, Lowry, Siakam, and Anunoby, that Norm Powell is by far the worst individual defender of those 5 guys, and they kept trying to go after Van Vliet and Lowry instead.
Yeah, and I think Powell is the weakest for both Kemba and for Tatum, which seems like you can give fruit either way.
Tatum hitting the second free throw.
Yeah, so that's now up to, I think they're 5 of 11 now from the line, 5 and 9.
Yeah, Toronto already in the bonus here. 2-3 zone now for the Celtics. Good communication there. Now it's Siakam matched up against Williams. And just a good little, usually you see that a lot. After a free throw possession, you might go to a junk defense. Now Tatum against Powell again.
Don't concede that shot.
Brown along the baseline, one-on-one, gets it back to Tatum. Again, I like this matchup. Let's see what happens. Tatum, I mean, he's got Walker open. Yeah, throw it to him. And nice play by Anunoby again, man. That was really good. But I think if Fred VanVleet is going to help that much to the nail against Tatum, just throw it to Walker and force VanVleet to guard Walker on a closeout. The other thing that we haven't seen at all yet either is Walker just going one-on-one against VanVleet, which worked extremely well, but not something that they've gone to again, I would say. 5 on the clock. Wanamaker to inbound on the baseline. Just gets it into Tatum. He's going to create this on his own. Stepping back. Way short. Wanamaker working inside, but he knocks it out of bounds, and it'll go to Toronto.
Yeah, I think that was off Wanamaker.
Certainly shaping up like it's going to be another slugfest down the stretch in this series. Now against the 2-3, VanVleet gets open right at the foul line. I mean, that's really good by VanVleet, because how many times is a point guard going to get a catch-and-shoot jump shot from the foul line? It's just not in the normal things you're going to practice, and he still makes it. Now Walker against Ibaka. They get 2 on him. Here's a 3 from Wanamaker. Again, another open missed 3 by Boston. Toronto looking to take the lead. VanVleet, deep pull-up. Way short. Wanamaker coming back. Now Walker attacking Ibaka in pick and roll. Quick pull-up from Walker. He rushed it just a little bit. You can tell he's not used to having the orange, and so when he gets it, he's rushing it. Now here's VanVleet. Oh, he's just swallowed up by Williams. Now it's Brown attacking Ibaka into the lane. Beautiful finish by Jaylen Brown using the shoulder to ward off Ibaka.
And attacking quickly because Van Vliet was well behind the play.
Now it's Lowry. Goes into Wanamaker for the and one. Not a good foul. And you see there, that's the Boston defensive philosophy, right? Like, those little guards drive, they are not going to help. They're going to make those guys finish at the rim. And Lowry has started to figure that out as the series has gone on. And that's one where they maybe could have brought a little bit more help, because to recognize that Lowry's going to be able to go through Wanamaker on that play.
Kyle Lowry's night so far, 8 points, 3 of 11 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3. That one was the first three-pointer he attempted. 3 rebounds, 3 assists in 26 minutes so far with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter.
How insane is it that Kyle Lowry is playing his 6th Game 7 of his career? And this Raptors team has been in a billion Game 7s, it seems like. Pretty much every single year they're in the playoffs. Wanamaker up top. They want to get Walker coming out the backside with these screens. Now he reverses course. Ibaka switching out on him. Williams was not able to get open. Here's Walker. Stopped from behind by Van Vliet. What a play. And Walker looked back at the ref. He could have intercepted that save. Now he'll step out on Lowry. Siakam against Wanamaker. Advantage matchup for the Raptors. Nice cut by Ibaka, but he couldn't hold on. First time he's flubbed one of those all series. Now it's Wanamaker going to attack. Smart. Blowing by Siakam on the baseline. Goes for the reverse. What a play.
What a finish there. Got into the contact of Ibaka, stabilized, and got to the righty off the glass. Beautiful play by Marcus Smart.
Yeah, Marcus Smart is having a wonderful game. I thought he actually came very close to stepping out of bounds with that left foot.
And that was potentially important. That is Serge Ibaka's 3rd foul. So he's not in difficulty yet, but could be there soon.
Yeah, will Nurse go to the Anunoby at center lineups? I think that's going to be a really interesting question. And the Celtics are getting away with the Rob Williams minutes. I thought maybe in a Game 7 you might go Grant Williams just for fewer mistakes. And I also think that the Celtics could do more switching in this series than they have, particularly because they then switch out of mismatches behind the play so well. That might enable Siakam to get going, but it doesn't seem like Toronto's really looking that way right now.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable approach. Something I just noticed is Daniel Tice is 1 for 7. He's 1 for 7 from the field. Most of that he's 1 for 3 in the restricted area, but he's also taken 3 jump shots so far. I think one was a heave.
Who would have won between the 2016 Warriors and the 2017 Cavaliers? Let's assume that both were healthy.
Okay, so I think if the 2016 Warriors are healthy, and that includes Stephen Curry, never having a knee injury, I think that team was one of the best teams. That team was incredible.
Yeah, I mean the 2017 Cavs were really, really good, and I think they were in some ways better than the 2016 version.
I agree.
But on the other hand, though, I would say that the 2017 Cavs were much more committed to Kevin Love. I thought that the Love concussion actually helped the Cavs in that series because it forced them to go straight out with a full switching scheme. Richard Jefferson ended up playing a lot more. The 2016 Cavs were better defensively than the 2017 Cavs, I would say. So I think that the 2016 Warriors would win, but I wouldn't put it out of the question at all that the 2017 Cavs could win. That was a very, very good basketball team.
Yeah, I would have the Warriors as favorite. Off the top of my head, maybe that 2016 Warriors in 6, but it would have been a fascinating series. Let's see. What is a better offensive ability, draw and make free throws, or a very good mid-range jumper? Draw and make free throws. I mean, it is more valuable in the regular season, but also it gives more of an offensive identity. There are times when having the mid-ranger is better, but drawing free throws is such a game changer. You can look at some of the most efficient offensive players, and that's a hallmark of what they do.
Yeah, although the counterpoint to that, and I largely agree with you, is that drawing free throws, depending on how it's drawn, is something that's easier to take away when you're really locked in on someone from a scouting report standpoint, right? And so many of the fouls that are drawn these days are kind of like BS fouls that are just like technically correct fouls. And so if you know defensively how to avoid getting stuck in that situation, it can be a lot better. But if you are the mid-range jumper, if someone is really good at that, and not only good at it, but they can get to it and get open for it, which is as important, if not more so, of actually making the shot, that's harder to stop. And, Kawhi Leonard is kind of an example of that. If you are just absolutely dominant at it. But, there's 5 to 10 guys in the league who are good enough at it for that to be like a steady diet of how they're scoring. So free throw from Smart puts Boston up 4. That was their advantage at the half as well. Ojale is in. Smart steps out on that screen. They're trying to post Ibaka on Tatum. That doesn't work. Now here's the drive by Lowry. What a finish again around Ojale. Kyle Lowry, some really beautiful drives to his right, using his body to ward off. Now they have to tell Rob Williams what play they're running. Here's Smart attacking off the Ojale screen. Smart probing. Ojale's 3. Semi Ojale rims it out. Now Williams has to pick up Powell in transition. They're mismatched. This is a 3 from Van Vliet. Yes! Fred Van Vliet giving Toronto a 1-point lead as they yo-yo back in front once more. Yeah, it looks like pretty much a man-to-man now here for for Toronto. But they are doing a lot of switching. Walker getting it back. Looks to attack Ibaka. Wow, what space created there. He had Ibaka sprinting into the next county to get him at the rim and created all kinds of space with about 2 on the shot clock. Now here's Van Vliet. Another one. Siakam keeping it alive. This is Ibaka. His 3-pointer. Way long that time. A little bit out of his range.
Not even close.
Here's Tatum. He'll pull up for a deep 3. That's better. Jason Tatum. Is that 3 3-pointers in this quarter by Jason Tatum?
I believe that is.
And none of them have even touched the rim. Now it's Lowry attacking Williams. Has to kick it out. Powell's 3 in the corner. Yeah, and Kemba Walker just wasn't where he needed to be
helping
on that
without
play.
helping.
Yep, helping without helping. That's exactly what that was. And he's looking a little tired right now, I would say. He played 22 minutes in the first half, but didn't do as much on the ball. 4-second differential. Powell on Tatum. I like this matchup for the Celtics, relatively speaking. Tatum way out. Short. Did not spend enough time attacking. There's still time here for Toronto. Smart cutting off Lowry. Now he's going to just have to gun it. That is awesome, awesome defense by Marcus Smart in a transition situation. Lowry couldn't even get it into the front court before he had to shoot it.
So we have a 72-71 margin at the end of the third quarter. Leading scorer in the game is Jason Tatum, 7 of 16 from the field, 4 of 6 from 3, 4 of 4 from the lines. That's 22 points on 18 shooting possessions. Also has 12 rebounds. I think he had 7 early, and then 6 assists to only 2 turnovers. Toronto's leading scorer, Fred Van Vliet, he's had the jump shot's been getting better. 17 points, 7 of 16 from the field, 3 of 7 from 3, has not gotten to the line. And the possession game is still in favor of the Celtics. They have 7 offensive rebounds to 5, and they also have forced 12 turnovers when Toronto has only forced 7.
Yeah, but a big deal was Toronto only turning it over twice in that third quarter. I think that helped them to some degree, and gave up 5 fast break points, but that's better than they had been so far. A lot of the numbers very easy, even the 3-point shooting, 27% for Boston, 30% for the Toronto Raptors. And this series deserves it, man. We're gonna have a really, really close fourth quarter. It's looking like.
Not a question, but a comment from Namir Baker that watching these Toronto Raptors turn into junkyard dogs after being paper tigers has been one of the joys of my recent basketball life. Same for me, to be honest. Like I had been, especially because there were a lot of players even on those Raptors teams that I wasn't picking to win series that I liked, especially Kyle Lowry, and then when they got him, Serge Ibaka. But yeah, I mean, so many intelligent defenders and talented players, and they're squeaking enough out offensively, and the development of Pascal Siakam. Yeah, they've become one of my favorite watches, both in the regular season and, of course, in the playoffs.
Yeah, and honestly, it's really been Lowry is the only mainstay holdover from those previous eras, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, Powell was sort of there, I think, from what like as a really young guy on those teams, but he wasn't like a stalwart. Let's see. From Oliver, Celtics missed a bunch of open shots early and now can't get any open shots. Game 6 was the same. I think they're still getting some open shots, but Toronto's defense has stiffened up in both, and that's what you expect. You expect there to be adjustments, and the same things that are open early are not going to be there late. Do the Celtics need to make any adjustments if they end up going home tonight? I don't think that the outcome of this series should determine what Danny Ainge does from here, but I think they should be looking for improvements anyway, because Boston's a really good team. But you think about the average team quality of a champion, and there's almost always somebody that's like a collection of superstars and something else. And I think Boston, if they're patient with Tatum and Brown, maybe they'll get there. But I think it could be a time to boost it a little bit, use some of their resources to add somebody who can move the needle for them. And also remember that Boston, with Gordon Hayward's assuming to be expiring contract, they might actually have a tool to add somebody depending on how much ownership is willing to spend.
Well, and let's keep in mind too that Gordon Hayward was not available for this series.
True. But Boston was a tier 2 title contender for me anyway, even if they were at full strength. And so maybe there's something they can do to get into tier 1. Maybe not though.
Yeah, but I wouldn't base a ton of it on this series.
Yes.
Necessarily. I mean, I think they overall have played well enough to win this series, other than some late game execution. Here's Walker, catch and shoot 3. Wow, Kemba Walker, big shot. They just screened away from him there with the big man. Tice is back in, and this is the starting lineup for Boston. Are they going to just stick with these guys the entire way?
Yes.
That'll be around 44 minutes for all of these guys. Here's Powell going into Tice. Offensive foul does not count. That could have been the 5th.
And Powell used his left arm there to create additional separation that made it really easy for the ref on his angle to see the push off.
Excellent defense by Tice. His foul situation will be something to monitor. He is the only player in this game with 4 fouls. Let's see if Walker can bring them home here. Or are they going to go with Tatum? They've got Powell in rather than Anunoby, which is very interesting, because I think he guards Tatum the best. Now here's Tice inside, finishes beautifully off the pick and roll switch.
I was going to say, why did they switch Siakam onto Tatum? But beautiful pass there into Tice.
Boston getting a slight bit of separation now, up 6. Toronto always seems to respond. Can they do it again? Forcing Siakam to his left off the screen. Now he attacks Tice. Lost it. Again, just not comfortable with that left hand. He just lost the left-handed dribble. Here's Tatum in transition. Extends. What a finish. That's the finish that he needs, not that little two-handed floater. Go ahead and look at your left hand. Now Lowry behind the back. Ibaka a little surprised by the pass. Trying to force Lowry to his left here. Tries to draw the foul, and that'll be the 5th foul. Let's see what this looks like here.
Tice's left hand was on Lowry.
Yeah, he put the left hand out, and as soon as Lowry feels that contact, he's going to throw it up. Just bad defense from Tice. You can't put the hand on him. He's done such a great job of not fouling in this series, but now that could break up this starting group for Boston that has pushed them to an 8-point lead. So a killer foul in that Lowry didn't have anywhere to go, and also Tice is on 5 fouls now, and very interested to see how Steven's going to react, and he's going to put Rob Williams in.
And I know that they haven't gone to it. I would have considered a couple minutes of Ojale here just to change it up and force Toronto to adapt.
Or Grant Williams.
Yeah, Grant Williams would work fine.
But Grant Williams hasn't played all game now. It's tough to bring a guy in who's that iced out. They want to get Tatum against Powell again. Goes at Siakam. Why are they running pick and roll here to have Siakam switch onto Tatum when Powell is a better matchup? Here's Smart, pick and pop. Gets Lowry in the air with his pass fake. Brown, stopped by Powell. That's going to be a jump ball.
Yeah,
2.1 left.
Great job by Norman Powell there to get back into it after the pump fake. It's just kept with the play.
Yeah, I mean, I really just like...
I don't know that should be. That looked like it was just like a block and recovery. Maybe you know that.
Well, no. As long if he doesn't actually lose possession, that's a jump ball. All right, here we go on the jump ball. Brown tips it. Tatum's got to look. Ooh, Brown on the glass. Oh, Ibaka knocked him over. No call. Here's Toronto in transition. Van Vliet stopped from behind by Williams. Walker, great hustle to get back into it. Now it's Brown ahead of the field, and he'll dunk. Oh, he went down. Oh, that did not look good. He slipped on the wet spot, and he is in trouble here. He slipped on the wet spot that I think he himself had created the last time down when he got shoved into the stands. And, oh, that's Siakam again. He did it again. He shoved him in the back. Look at this. He shoved him in the back, and, yeah, he slips on the wet spot, but... Like, why is Siakam doing that? He does that. He got a flagrant foul on that earlier. That is a incredibly dangerous play.
And we'll see if they look at this for review. It's not the most important thing right now with Jaylen Brown down, but they should absolutely look at this.
Yeah, they're not going to though. But I mean, I'm worried about, is it going to be his right knee or right groin? And that's actually, I mean, that's something where they don't have as many ball boys. There have been guys slipping around a lot, or ball people, I should say. Maybe that gets cleaned up if you're in a different setting. Oh, what a bummer it would be if Jaylen Brown can't continue, and I fear that may be the case. That looked very ugly.
From GL and then 4-5s, which of these teams has a better chance against the Heat and the LA teams? I think it's Boston for all of those, assuming they're full strength, let's say even without Hayward, because I think their offense is more viable. Toronto can really grind down in the half court, and I think that gives them a lower chance. But Toronto could absolutely win any of those series. But yeah, that would be where I would go with it. I'm interested there have been a lot of comments on the wet spot on Twitter, but nobody's really talking about the hand on the back from Siakam. But I'm not going to – I don't feel like being the guy to initiate that.
So according to Jared Weiss, he has walked to the bench, and the humid courts, a lot of people blaming that. But, I mean, I don't think it was a question of the humid court. Like, I think he had
fallen on the previous play.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to look back at the previous play itself, which I can't do right now because we're synced up with each other, but to see whether he fell on that spot, and that's what created the wet spot.
Can you guys predict closing lineups? Well, unfortunately, now this is going to be a potential change. I think Toronto is going to close with the Siakam at center lineup, the same lineup that we saw. And I would say if Jaylen Brown were available, and we don't know that yet, then Boston would too. I think that especially if Toronto is still behind, and we don't know if they will be, that lineup will help give them some juice on that respect. But it could be Ibaka too instead of Powell. But I think Nick Nurse trusts Powell. Is Gasol on the floor to close? No, I sincerely doubt it. They could. It's not like impossible, but I don't think he will be.
All right, he's going to stay in the game. Braun is, according to Shams.
That's good.
That's not reporting. That's just him being there and seeing it happen before anyone else could tweet it.
but we'll have to see how he's moving. I mean, it's a great sign that he is available and that hopefully it isn't serious, but we're gonna have to keep an eye on it, of course.
And the Raptors, meanwhile, are going to their all smalls lineup according to Bontemps. Let's see if we can catch a look at this.
That looks more like groin than hamstring to me, but I'm not the most knowledgeable at that.
No, I mean, I think he's going to be okay. We'll see how he's moving. So see if they go at him right away. It looks like they are. See if he can move. He struggled to move a little bit on that one, but Lowry missed it. Yeah, man, he's not moving too good right now. We'll see. He usually is kind of a gimpy runner. Maybe he'll be able to work into it, but when you get hurt like that, especially with a muscle injury, you got to kind of just test it a little more and a little more and a little more until you can figure out what you need to do. Here's Tatum backing down on Van Vliet. Tries to go through Anunoby. Left-hand pass. Brown's three is way off. And that'll end the shot clock. Boston still leading by 8 here. That was a great pass.
Okay, so question for you. If Jaylen Brown, if you don't think he should continue, who do you replace him with?
Oh, good. Let's think about that after this play. Trying to involve Williams in pick and roll. They just switched this. Interesting. Now Tatum helping off. Late clock. Van Vliet way out over Williams. Yes! Huge shot by Van Vliet. Yeah, if Brown is compromised here. Yeah, maybe it's Ojale?
I think that's
but I bet you they would actually go with Wanamaker. That might be the guy. Here's Walker blowing past Powell. Brown not looking to shoot it into the lane. He's got Tatum. Great pass. Yes. No, he squirted out. I thought he had it. And then Williams is fouled by Lowry.
That was a horrendous overhelp by the Raptors on a guy who can't move very well to leave basically two different guys on the drive when they already had it contained.
That's what they do, though. I mean,
it's true. That's the scheme.
Yeah, they have had a very good defense, but yeah, leaving Jason Tatum open for a spot. Now here's Walker blowing by Van Vliet again. Stop from behind, though, by Van Vliet. What a play without fouling. Now it's 3-on-4. Smart bothering Van Vliet. Van Vliet creating the space. Van Vliet has been their best three-point shooter. He's hit some tough deep ones on those high arcers. Just going to go one-on-one at Walker, interestingly. Stepping back. Way short, and Williams controls.
That was a nice defense by Kemba Walker. Conceded space, but didn't get all the way to the basket.
Yeah, I still like Kemba Walker attacking here. Instead of Tatum going at Siakam. Cut off nicely. Back to Tatum. Goes quickly. Spins. Tough. Fading away. Way short. Raptors looking to cut into the 5-point lead. Lowry. Here's Powell. Smart trying to take the charge.
And
they give it to him.
That was late. That was a late call, unless maybe one of the off-camera refs was calling it.
Yep, I think Zach Zarbo was kind of waiting to see what happened, and that's Smart's there all day. That's the right call.
Yeah, and he takes it in the chest. He's in Norman Powell's path. That's the right call. I don't love players who aren't guarding that guy being able to take charges, but that's the rule as it exists.
Yeah, starting to run into that feeling now where teams are feeding for a bucket. They screen away for Jaylen Brown. He's hacked by Lowry. Not a good foul there.
And something to remember here, this is Toronto's 4th foul. I believe that's the 4th one. So that means Boston shooting the rest of the way, and easy points is really what you're looking for here.
Yeah, Brown still just not moving particularly well. They force Smart out on the floor. Let's see what they want to run here. They're trying to screen for Walker. Now they lob it into Tatum. He goes through Van Vliet's arm, and that's going to put Boston in the bonus and be free throws.
And another benefit of getting to the line for both of these teams is that they've both been terrible in half-court offense, and so that means you can basically ensure that the other team doesn't get a run out unless you're the Clippers, who can somehow get a transition run on them when they make a free throw.
Yeah, Blake Murphy making a good point on Twitter that if you think you're going to go at Kemba Walker, let Kyle Lowry attack him off the dribble. He's much better using his size. We saw that a couple of times in the overtimes of Game 6, whereas Van Vliet is not really that type of physical driver.
It's a great point. Another missed free throw for the Boston Celtics. They are now 7 of 12 from the line.
Yeah, Tatum usually reliable here.
It's that home crowd in Toronto.
Powell on the drive. Now it's Siakam looking to attack Grant Williams, who just came on. Siakam getting past him, misses it, but tips home his own layup. I thought
that
Tatum...
was a travel.
Oh, it was. Yeah, he moved his right pivot foot. You're correct on that. Brown setting the screen for Walker. 2 screens now coming for him. Wants it back. He's just going to go at Van Vliet. I love that matchup. Shoots over him. Had a good look again. I mean, it's even if the ball doesn't go in, I think these are some of the best looks that they're getting. Now it's Siakam. Smart with the steal. He dug down and stole the pass. Now it's Brown. Not looking to attack. Good transition defense as Anunoby got back. They want to post Brown.
Closed out without jumping.
Double team comes. Weak side. Walker getting past Van Vliet. Pulls up over Siakam. Yes. Mid-ranger. And the foul.
Yeah, late contest by Siakam that he kept the hand out there and got the foul. That was a to me a pretty ineffectual foul. His hand was in the face, but then if you pull it back, you're never going to get called for that.
Yeah, I did not see a ton there. We didn't get a great look at the foul.
And so that's 6 fouls for Toronto in the fourth quarter and only 1 for the Boston Celtics. That is a big problem for the Raptors.
Yeah, Walker hitting the free throw. Even that one, he was kind of body Englishing it in after he released it. And timeout now for the Raptors. And the question here is whether we're going to see any personnel changes at all. Tice getting a rest with the 5 fouls. They've held up with Grant Williams.
Well, and also remember that this is Toronto's, that was their last timeout before the final 2 minutes. And you assume that Nick Nurse, if this game is close, is going to hold those to the very end. So it's basically Brad Stevens is going to determine when this game has stoppages for the next 4 minutes.
Yeah, 7-point advantage for the Celtics. And the Raptors have had an answer seemingly every time it's been close in this series. And I think where I would be looking right now, Lowry has struggled at 4 of 14, hasn't had the 3-ball going. It's really been only Van Vliet is the only guy who's made anywhere close to a decent number of threes to the Raptors. He's 4 out of 8. But I think Lowry against Kemba Walker is the matchup I would be attempting to exploit. Or if you could get, say, Lowry against Grant Williams, I might look there as well.
Yeah. Grant Williams is very foul happy, and Kyle Lowry could get the Raptors close to the bonus with that. Pascal Siakam's line for the game, 4 of 10 from the field, all 2s, hasn't taken a 3, 2 free throws, which he made, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 turnovers, 3 fouls. And going through Siakam's shot chart, it's 6 in the restricted area. He's made 4 of those 6, but then outside of that, he's taken 4 shots and missed them. But yeah, it has not been, and for me, the bigger disappointment with Siakam, I think he's had some rough defensive possessions as well. And he hasn't been terrible overall, but it hasn't been great.
Yeah, still been a defensive struggle at 85-79. Boston has gotten their 85 on 82 possessions, 104 offensive rating. Toronto below a point per possession, 96 offensive rating for them. And the other thing that jumps up to you off the stat sheet, Toronto turning it over 20% of their possessions.
Yeah, that's a great call. I can't go through the full thing here, but from Dustin Whitehead, do you think Marcus Smart is a top 50 player or a top 75 at least? I mean, so you think about, yeah, it's not every team is not equal, but a top 50 player would be the second best player on at least, a portion of NBA teams. And if you, and actually they'd probably be on about half when you think that they're concentrated. I don't think Marcus Smart is quite at that level. I think, maybe top 75, top 100. He is incredibly valuable among that group, But part of it is also he doesn't, he doesn't have to be the linchpin of your team offensively, and then he's a valuable defender in a couple different ways. But he's not the linchpin necessarily. He is a wonderful defensive player, though.
I think he's improved his shooting while also cleaning up his shot selection. He's got that sidestep three now that he's been making, and he can also really be a secondary initiator for you and make smart decisions, and then just the overall ethos that he brings to the team. Taking charges. He's the best player in the league at getting through screens. He might be a top 50 player, like very low end of that.
I'd have to work through it. I'm trying to remember where he was in the position rankings, but I don't have that off the top of my head, and we are back.
Yeah, I think I had him around in the top 10 in shooting guards.
But they are the most shallow position maybe in the league.
All right, so Grant Williams remains at center, and they stay with the Anunoby at center lineup for Toronto. Looks like they're trying to set up a little flex type of action here. Smart just totally blows it up and takes it away. Now Siakam has to create one-on-one. They let him get to the right hand. Backdoor, Williams intercepts. They had nowhere to go. But that was all Marcus Smart taking away Kyle Lowry coming off the screen. That was the primary action of the play. Now they want to get Tatum. This is their ATO against Siakam. Brown trying to post up, not looking that way. Late clock again. Crossover. He gets in. Layup is good. And with Anunoby guarding out on the perimeter against Walker, there's no one there providing any help resistance. And Siakam went for the steal and paid for it. 9-point game now. Toronto must respond. Lowry throws it away. This will be a backcourt violation.
Yeah, and Jaylen Brown didn't have the juice to go take that for himself, but it didn't matter too much because it was already going to be a turnover.
Yeah, and you can see Jaylen Brown is really hurting. Like, he cannot sprint right now. Going after that loose ball, he's running at about 75% power right there. But all he's got to do is hit open shots and defend his position. Same play again. Brown looking to post up on the near side. Tatum looking to attack. Gets right in. Fouled. More free throws coming, and Jason Tatum is starting to hurt Siakam. And here's my question, Danny. Why not go with OG Anunoby? I actually think Siakam might be a better help defender than Anunoby, as Smart is now down again, and Grant Williams is pointing out another wet spot on the floor. But I think OG is better on Tatum. Siakam's done a good job on him, and I like Siakam better as a shot blocker.
Are you going to put Siakam on Kemba then, or are you going to put him on somebody else?
No, I think you go Van Vliet on Kemba. He's done a pretty good job.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And then you put Siakam on
I
the
would
fifth
throw
guy.
Siakam on either Grant Williams or Jaylen Brown. But man, Tatum just cannot hit a free throw. This game could basically be over right now if Boston had hit enough free throws. But with a 9-point lead with 4:51 left and a chance to push it to double digits, Tatum does do that. And Toronto is in some difficulty now. They've got about 10 possessions left to make up 10 points. Siakam against Williams. They don't switch this. Now Williams with the late switch. Wow, what a shot from Powell. The Euro step didn't work. Great verticality from Williams, and that's just awesome touch.
And this timeout from Stevens is probably bringing Daniel Tice back in the game.
Yeah, I think. Does any team look more or less tired to you right now?
No, not particularly. Actually, I would say the Celtics look maybe a little bit more gassed right now.
Yeah. Yeah, but Toronto is an excellent three-point shooting team, so they do have that level of explosiveness. But we always say in these comebacks, 3-shot fouls and turnovers are the things to watch here. And with an 8-point advantage, if the Celtics can keep scoring, this game is theirs.
Let's see.
Do you go back to Ibaka? Whew. I might consider it. I mean, I think your problem there is, are you going to go back to the box and one in that situation? Or are you going to play a conventional style, in which case Walker can maybe get going again in the pick and roll against Ibaka. I don't know.
Well, what's
Really,
interesting
it's
is
a
it might
tough
actually
call.
help them offensively because it might give Toronto a more basic way to initiate some of their actions.
Yeah, and actually you could get some threes and pick and pop for Ibaka, which, they really just haven't been able to get any open shots outside of
So
that.
somebody asked if the Raptors are in the bonus yet. No, Boston's only committed one foul in the fourth quarter, so they're a long way from the bonus.
Good to see Tim Bontemps in the Periscope chat here checking in. Good to see you, Tim. You got a much better view than we do right now. Here's Smart. Deep three. Rebounded by Williams, though, and they could run some more clock. Tatum going to try Siakam again. Siakam reaching in to bother him. Loses it off his foot, and this will be an empty possession. But they at least ran the time down and didn't turn it over.
But I think teams get in their own way sometimes here, thinking about running down the time, and you do want to take it slow, but I think you can initiate actions early, and then if something clean comes up, only take the good shots.
Yeah, and again, I really would like to go back to Walker if you're going to be isolating here against Van Vliet. That's their best matchup to me. I don't think Tatum against Siakam. He's got a couple of nice plays, but it's feast or famine there. Siakam on the roll. Grant Williams on him. Siakam faking. Gets back to the right hand, and Grant Williams again bit on the play that he wants you to bite on so he can get back to the right hand. Still forced a difficult shot, but Siakam can make that. He's starting to refine this touch. It's back to 6. Pick and roll. Switch. Walker attacking. Tried to step back. Anunoby is all over him. Still bothering him. And again, why get the switch here with Anunoby as Smart is going to get fouled? Oh, what a terrible foul by Lowry. Killer foul, up 6 or down 6 for the Raptors.
This might be a challenge if it was a bad call, but I don't know if it was.
But back to the Celtics process, why would you switch to get Walker one-on-one against Anunoby instead of Fred VanVleet? So a 5th personal for Lowry, and Smart, who's been reliable from the foul line, a chance to push it here. Do you have an indication on it's 2 or 3 shots? Well, he missed the first one, man. Boston struggling at the line, and that's why the Raptors' hearts are still beating right now.
It's a shooting foul. It's 3 shots.
Well, yeah, I wasn't sure whether he was behind the line or not as well,
Yeah.
but probably would have
Pretty
made sure to get behind there. So, no, I think that was only 2.
Interesting. The box score had said it was maybe his foot was in front of the line.
So 7-point game now, 3 possessions. That is 1 big free throw. Trying to get Siakam again to go against Grant Williams. They like this matchup. He's going right. He gets right, and he's fouled. You got to keep him off the right hand. They're not doing a good enough job with that, Grant Williams.
Well, and also Jason Tatum there. I think once you see Siakam going right, you can dig a little bit off of OG Anunoby in the corner. Now, OG, you can kind of hedge and recover, but make Pascal Siakam think a little bit about it.
And Grant Williams trying to show his hands, but he did get him with the body. Part of the problem here right now for Boston, I think, is that Siakam with a killer missed free throw. Part of the problem here is I think Jaylen Brown, they don't want to put him one-on-one against Siakam right now where he's just trying to gut it through, especially if it's your groin. That probably the hardest thing to do with a groin injury of all the basketball motions is sliding your feet defensively. Does get the second, so they exchange 1 for 2 at the line. And I think the reason we're seeing Grant Williams is because Jaylen Brown isn't out there to guard Siakam. They could consider Tatum there too, but I think they like Tatum on the perimeter guys. Williams at range against Siakam. They get it to Tatum. Siakam switching on it. They're going at Siakam every time. Help off of Walker. Big 3. Misses. Williams. Can he save it? He cannot.
He did not have the vertical leap to save that ball. And that was Fred VanVleet helping at the nail, creating an open 3. But again, it doesn't go in for Toronto. Or for Boston, sorry.
So what did they just call here? Nick Nurse directing traffic. I can't see what he's trying to say. Maybe what side of the court he wants. They want to give Powell a shot here off the screen. Back to Lowry. Tatum cuts him off beautifully. Powell going to try again against Smart. Not an advantage matchup. Going at Smart. Curls out. Siakam goes down. He almost had the offensive board. Great effort. But now a bucket by Boston here could really put Toronto into difficulty. Tatum going to get the ball. Wants to screen for Walker. Walker going to go at Anunoby again. I don't know why they're doing this switch.
For some reason.
Walker creating the space. Stopped, of course, by Anunoby. Smart now has to create late in the clock. He'll drive. Lowry is there. Charge! Called by Zach Zarba. That could have been Lowry's sixth.
And instead, it is Marcus Smart's first. Okay. I mean, I don't think you could, because he didn't take it like it wasn't truly in Marcus Smart's path. Marcus Smart was going parallel to the side, to the baseline. I think that's a bad call.
They weren't going to foul Lowry out of the game on that though, I don't think. But so Toronto with the chance now. Lowry attacking Williams, blows by him, easy layup, the first easy bucket by anybody in ages, and it's still 4. And they got to just, why are they going to go at Anunoby every time? He's the best isolation defender in the NBA. And they're going to do it again here, Danny.
Unbelievable.
This time they don't get the switch, and they'll give it up so he can go at Anunoby again. And he stops him. Williams along the baseline. Late clock. Tatum has to take the tough step back, way short. Smart on the rebound. That could have been Lowry's 5th or 6th as well, and they don't call it. Out of bounds. They are swallowing the whistles here at the end of Game 7. A flop-tastic event that time for the loose ball.
Yeah, and that's 2 times Smart and Lowry have collided, but Lowry didn't even make a play on the ball at all. He just made a play on Marcus Smart. And now, finally, Daniel Theis comes back in the game. We'll see if this changes Boston's defense.
So probably a conventional pick-and-roll defense style now. But Anunoby is the guy who they really need to set the screen. That's what they're going to do. They just switch this. Lowry going at Theis. Misses the layup, but a foul is called. Very interesting. I think they're going to say that Theis got him with his left arm.
And that's Theis' 6th.
That will do it for Daniel Theis. Is there a chance of a challenge here? It seemed like it was a pretty obvious call, or it wouldn't have been made. Let's watch the left arm of Theis here. First he gets the arm on him.
Yeah.
Comes down, gets him on that right elbow.
Left hand on right elbow.
And we've seen a number of times just the strength of Kyle Lowry knocking these guys back, and then they try to go for the strip afterwards. We saw, I think it was Wanamaker on the same play earlier. So this can bring the Toronto Raptors within 2 points. Boston has been getting miserable offense. And they have just been going at OG Anunoby time after time, and I don't understand it in the slightest. Norm Powell, Van Vliet, those are the guys to go after here. Van Vliet's good, but Walker gets by him every time he tries it.
Boston hasn't made a field goal in 4 minutes.
Let's see what they're going to run. Screen away here. They switch. Now it's Siakam on Tatum. Tatum gets into the lane off the reach. Lays it up. Williams is there. He loses it. Now Toronto can get in transition. Powell going at Smart. Rejected by Smart. Wow. What a play. That could have tied it. Now Boston can run it down. And they got to just get out of Kemba's way here. He's got the matchup on Van Vliet. Just let him go. I think that's what they're finally going to do. Running it down. 5 on the clock. Walker. Getting past him easily. Into the lane. Leaves it off. Williams, he's hacked underneath with 0.4 on the shot clock.
And I think that's Lowry's 6. They should put that. I think Lowry's the one who reached.
You guys watch these casts for a reason, right? Just an incredible block there by Smart, first of all. But we kept telling you, have a go at Van Vliet. That's how you can get the penetration. This dump-off pass from Walker is unreal. How did he get that to him? And that could do it for Kyle Lowry. And if this is the end of Kyle Lowry's season, he has battled incredibly hard to get Toronto back in this series, and this game will not be the same without him, as we have a 2-point game.
And I agree appropriately. Jared Weiss invoked Tayshaun Prince on that Marcus Smart block. That was incredible. Oh, somebody asked to turn off the Twitter.
Just did it, actually. Thanks for the for the reminder. So Grant Williams is going to have the 2 biggest free throws of his career coming up. If he can make both of them, that puts Toronto into a lot of trouble. With 34.8 left, interesting that there's a timeout here.
Oh, and a great question from Elliot Litherland. Who does Toronto put in here?
Who called this timeout, by the way?
Nick Nurse did.
Why would you? I mean, I think he's just challenging. It must be challenging it, right? But there's nothing. It's a clear foul.
Yeah, as far as I could tell, I saw Lowry's arm in there.
But this is actually, I mean, maybe you didn't get a look at it. It's like, hey, it's Kyle Lowry. We got to challenge if he's fouling out. Yeah, I mean, that's a clear as day foul on Kyle Lowry. There's no 2 ways about it. Yeah, he lands on his back, grabs his arm. It's not even close. But the loss of a timeout to not be able to advance the ball, if they're going to be down 2 possessions now, and even if they're not, 34.8, you really can't get the 2-for-1 unless you advance the ball, and that's critical here. So I know they wanted to keep Lowry in the game, but I would criticize this challenge from Nurse because that was a no-hoper.
And so now we'll see who the 5th closer is for the Toronto Raptors. Both teams having to go with somebody different due to a
It's going to be
foul out.
Ibaka, by the way.
Okay. That's the right call. I support that.
So now, because like to be able to, you probably, even with 34.8 left, you probably need a timeout to advance the ball and then a timeout to advance the ball again on your next possession to get 2 possessions out of this, particularly if you're going to be down 4, although I don't think Williams is a great bet to make both of these free throws. That is a critical loss to not be able to advance the ball on one of the 2 possessions you have remaining to you.
Do you want to play the game of Grant Williams free throw shooting this year?
It was like a 73%, right? I thought we did this before.
72.
Yeah, so about a coin flip here for him to make both of these, and that obviously, going up 3 doesn't hurt you much either, but... And also, with Lowry out of the game now, did not hit the first, by the way.
Oof.
With Lowry out of the game, I think if you're the Raptors, getting a 3-pointer to win it in regulation becomes much more appealing. Missed them both. Tatum gets it, though, and he's going to get fouled. Oh, what an error by the Raptors. Tatum ran in from the 3-point line. Norman Powell did not see him. And it was really, I guess he was there. It was just an unlucky bounce in the end, but clear foul. Yeah, no, Norm Powell, you have to get in front of him on that play. And he
beat
just
the
didn't.
man to the spot.
And perhaps because there was a belief, as Tatum is going to get the first, that the Raptors were going to call timeout after that rebound anyway. The thought was, hey, why not just sprint in to go for the offensive glass? But Tatum much more reliable than Grant Williams. And he misses a free throw. So they don't take the timeout. They're not going to get the 2-for-1 here. They're not even trying to. Here's Van Vliet looking to attack Brown. They set this up to go at him. They hadn't really at all. Brown, great defense in his injured state. Now there's 7 on the clock. Pick and roll. Switch this. Van Vliet's going to look for a 3, you must imagine. Here's his. Way short over Williams. And the Celtics have it. Finally, the foul is given, and Kemba Walker can ice this away in all probability with one of these 2 free throws.
And I have to criticize the process there from the Raptors. They let the clock run all the way down 3, end up in an isolation, and Van Vliet didn't have a screen, didn't have anything there, and so Grant Williams could just set on the 3-point shot.
And I mean, it's tough. That's not Van Vliet's game. And the switching unit for the Celtics actually played to their advantage that time. Grant Williams, he did not play, Danny, until Tice got his 5th foul in this game, I believe. He definitely didn't play in the first 3 quarters, and that free throw may finally put this one in the books for the Boston
But
Celtics.
so what the Raptors need to do here is they need to call the timeout to advance the ball, get something really quick, and then foul.
Or do you save it? Again, they're really hurt by not having 2 timeouts here. That challenge, I mean, that's one of those ones where Kyle Lowry wanted him to challenge it. Nick Nurse trusted his star. Maybe he didn't have a look at it, but it was an obvious foul. And with 2 free throws by Walker, a 5-point game, 7.9 left, they are going to call timeout. Clearly, what you have to do here is get the 3. Yeah. I mean, they're really, you probably got to get a 2 now. Maybe even, I think you probably just got to go for a 3, then foul, hope they miss one of them, and go for a 3 again. I think that's your only hope at this point.
I just remembered how Kyle Lowry got a second foul. It was a Euro foul. It always comes back. When a star player commits an intentional foul to stop a fast break, it always burns you somehow.
That's right. There was one. Was that the one where Kemba knew it was coming? I think that was. And was that that was in this half?
I think he did it twice. I think his second foul was in the second quarter, and Kyle Lowry did it again. I think you're right that it was twice.
Yeah, what a killer. I mean, if he doesn't foul out, but I guess, I mean, the other thing you got to look at is that offensive rebound by Tatum. Like, what a killer it is to give that up for the Raptors on a guy running in from the 3-point line when you have the lead. I can't recall ever seeing that before.
Oh, somebody asked why I called Matt Thomas Mr. 99%. That was a joke from it's true. It was a nickname. I think it's on Basketball Reference because he had a 99% effective field goal percentage on catch and shoot unguarded in Europe last year. But I just thought it was hilarious, and I used it in the League Pass live show once.
All right. Critical information here with 7.9 seconds remaining.
That's what they asked.
Not every question must be answered. All right, here we go. Raptors looking to get it in bounds. They got to get a quick 3 here. They get the similar play to what they ran before. They're trying to get a 3 from Van Vliet. They're all over it. Air ball saved by Anunoby. Ibaka, he misses, and that'll do it. 5-point win for the Boston Celtics. They won it with defense and scrapping and hustle plays and one decent play call in the last 4 minutes.
But what a series! I mean, you had the classic ending of Game 3, the absolute knockdown, drag out slobber knocker of Game 6, and then a fight to the nail Game 7. What a series! And yes, the champions went down in the second round. This is a fundamentally different Raptors team, but they went down swinging. They went down hard. It was just a incredibly hard fought series by the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah, just a classic. A third Game 7. It's everything you hope for in a Game 7. Teams just scratching and clawing, and Jaylen Brown gutting it out. Clearly was not even close to 100%. And mistakes, bad play calls, everything that you need. I mean, and I say that not even jesting. I really think that every Game 7 kind of needs those moments because it's impossible to play a Game 7 perfectly. But we'll be back, talk about this on Dunked On as soon as we can. And our next cast for this, I'm not sure yet, but check the calendar. We'll get that figured out. Talk to y'all next time.